Hey, everybody, welcome to the third episode of the future greatest podcast of all time, the Game Boys Unplugged Podcast. My name is Matt Ferrara, aka DefNot_Maddie, and I'm here with none other than the greatest, the best, the incorrigible, the uninhibited, the number one, Mr. Ty, aka Ty Plays More. Hey, Ty, how are ya?
I'm doing good, man. I hope you're doing just as good, and I'm ready to talk some games, honestly.
Yeah, man, games. Who isn't ready to talk about games? I'm ready to talk about games. I'm ready to play some games. I'm ready to think about games. And it's good talking to you, man. I feel like it's been we haven't spoken since last year, I feel like. What is this? Here is 2024. I'm that guy. I'm that guy, by the way. I am the last year guy. I'm the guy who goes, "Oh, we haven't had a podcast since last year." Am I right?
Yeah, dude. No, it's been a minute, and there's definitely tons and tons to talk about, I feel, and just a short while here.
Yeah, I mean, well, so since the last time we spoke, Ty, since last time we spoke on camera, I guess you could say, or podcast here, it was before Christmas, before New Year's, before the beginning of the year. Football playoffs are happening. What have you been doing? What's been going on? What's been going on in your life? What's been happening?
Just I've been off work the last couple days now, but before that, honestly, just holiday rush there. You know, I wasn't playing a ton, but recently I've been playing. The game I've been really focusing my time on has been Pokemon Legends Arceus on the Switch, which is like 2 years old now. And
yeah, I was gonna say you're going back in time.
Yeah,
for Pokemon.
Yeah, I've just felt pretty motivated to try to like actually finish it. Like actually, just yesterday, last 2 days mainly, I've been hitting it hard and like just catching everything I can. I'm almost finished. The last two are a little bit of a grind that I honestly was just playing and falling asleep. Just wait, like you literally just have to like at this point I'm just like quite literally playing a waiting game of waiting for something to spawn. But
for that spawn rate, you just got to get that last one, that last guy.
Pretty much,
you're not even going for shinies or anything.
No,
you're
not right now.
Oh God, that's the next step.
Yeah, it's kind of goofy. The game is called Legends Arceus, but like, which Arceus? If for anyone, I don't know what you know about Pokemon, I guess, but he's like the god.
I know about Scyther.
Okay,
that's a Pokemon, right?
That is he's in that game.
That's the one that
he's
I know.
In that game.
I know he goes like this, Scyther.
Yeah,
that I know. Other than that, I don't know anything else about Pokemon.
Yeah, basically, in this game, it's like a whole prelude to like, I mean, it's the earliest if there's like a timeline.
In the past, right? Where like the main character goes back in time.
It's basically an isekai where like he gets like isekai in that world.
Wait, explain this to me. So I've heard this term isekai thrown around like a lot recently. What is isekai?
It's basically like a character gets thrown into a world that they're not from. Type of thing.
But is it like a timeline thing? Is it a outer space thing? Like what is? Could it be anything? Any kind of world?
I mean, I guess I don't know if there's like a literal like definition, but typically it's like a anime genre. There's been some games, but like I'm trying to think of like a good example of one.
Well, this sounds like a good example of one, right?
I don't know if this is a good example, because technically I think the guy was from a Pokemon world, but he gets like sent to the past. I don't really know.
Goodness. Oh, wait, he is in a separate world, not a human Earth world.
He's already in the Pokemon world. It just is like he gets somehow transferred to this other time period. I don't really know.
Fish out of water.
Fish out of water.
Yeah, we're saying like in most recent terms that I can think of, like if you've ever seen the show on, I think it stars Outlander,
I've heard of that.
It's very famous with I think my mom. So That's nice.
One for the
But
mom
essentially,
crowd.
we got it for the moms. Apparently, there's a woman who she goes back in time to go to Scotland or something, and then falls in love with a Scottish man, and then she's in England, and it's kind of like a fish out of water kind of thing, like you're saying. Or in video games terms, I remember Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced. Right, if you remember that game, you're a
I've heard
kid
of
in the
that.
schoolyard, and you're like, "Oh, I just don't know what's going on. I'm getting bullied, but I'm the nice kid." And then he like opens up a book, and he's teleported into Ivalice, which is the Final Fantasy Tactics world, and he's like, "Oh, now I'm a kid in Final Fantasy Tactics."
I did not
So
know that was the story. That's definitely
I only
it's
know it's a
somewhere in
story because I hate the
between.
story. I despise that. Because they took what I thought was probably the best Final Fantasy story in Final Fantasy Tactics, and they turned it into this, I'm a kid in elementary school, and I'm the only one who can, save the world in this other world. I fucking hated it. I hated every second of it. But that's why I remember it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think it's probably like somewhere in between because like the guy's already been in this world, but it's like gets transported in time for like no reason really type of thing. It's just like it's. I think that's one big thing about like isekais is that it's just it's not like the character wanted it to happen,
Right.
as well. And I will say that is one thing very odd to me about this game is that it happens and like it kind of just happens. The character like never really it doesn't really play off the fact like personality wise. I mean, the game's all like the Pokeballs are all like made out of wood and stuff, and you have to craft everything.
I have heard this back in the past, right? They had to make there was no super mega Pokeballs, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there is no Master Ball.
Paper mache Pokeballs.
It was basically you take things from trees and just go hammer it at a workbench.
Bamboo.
It is pretty fun. But like the reason why I've been wanting to finish it is because I would like to get the Pokemon Arceus. Despite it being the name of the game, you actually, from my understanding, you have to catch all the Pokemon in the game that you can, because there's a quest that like a voice is telling you, presumably Arceus, that to catch or seek out all Pokemon. And then you do that, and you get an item.
The voice is telling you gotta catch them all.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anything?
Yeah, pretty much. You do that, and you get an item, but you actually don't. I'm pretty sure you don't actually get him in that game. You have to go to a different game to get him, which is really.
Well, that's the whole spirit of Pokemon.
Kind of.
From the very beginning.
You'd think the titular character would be easily accessible.
Well, yeah, you would think that, but then they wouldn't be able to sell more Pokemon Arceus Red and Blue.
Exactly.
And then you wouldn't be able to trade with your Pokemon Arceus Red friends.
That is one thing. Arceus is just one version.
Oh, really? So then how? So what is it? DLC to get? It's the sequel.
So it's like basically a big prequel for like all Pokemon games, but it's really a prequel for the 4th generation of Pokemon games, Diamond and Pearl, which does have a Switch version. I'm pretty sure the data like connects. So once you get everything, you get Arceus other one. I'm pretty sure.
Interesting.
Pretty sure. I haven't quite done it yet. But
or you can, if I think I actually have heard that my uncle works for Nintendo, and he told me that if you go left at Lavender Town and down to a little piece of forest, you get a special Pokemon called Missing No.
Yeah.
So also check that out. I think in that game is what happens. Also, Mew 2 and Mew 1 are both in it also.
Yeah, but did you know if you my uncle's goldfish actually lives next door outside the offices of Nintendo.
Yeah,
and
go on. This is a hot scoop.
I've heard that if you get Mew1 and Mew2, take them actually up the route through Lavender Town on a Thursday evening at 11 o'clock on the dot. If you tilt the cartridge slightly, you actually get Mew3.
Oh my god, Mew3? Okay, wait, hold on a second. Get my copy of Pokemon. Get it.
But other than that, that's really mainly what I've been up to, grinding Fortnite.
Well, besides like No,
Peter
but yeah,
Griffin.
grinding Fortnite. Well, what'd you do for New Year's? I mean, let's just wrap up Pokemon Arceus for a second. Like, sorry, I'm getting all
Oh
sorts of
no, you're
off
good.
track here. Pokemon Arceus, that's the one with the combat system that's not quite turn-based. It's a little bit action-based, or
I mean, it's still turn based. This is something in the sequel I'd like to like have them explore it a little depth.
Mhm.
But like there is these new styles of the fighting. So they removed. It's almost a little streamlined. They removed like Pokemon don't have any abilities in even like the
Oh, they
most.
can't swim or
Or
fly
no,
or
no, no, you can do that. But so
cutter.
Pokemon games have like a literal thing called like an ability
Hmm.
where it's not like the swim or anything like that. It's basically like one of the most standard ones a lot of them have is called Intimidate, where you send it out and it
Oh,
lowers like I think attack or defense or something like that. Yeah, this one removes all of that. It changes a lot of the statuses, and then the big thing is like you can get ganged up on in this game. If the wild Pokemon get angry at you, they'll start like actually hitting the player, and then
oh my God.
you can send out a Pokemon. But like, let's say there's like 3 Pokemon aggroed on you, and send out your Pokemon. You're sending out just one. It's a 1-on-3 out there.
Damn.
So the
Well, this was
styles,
before all the modern Pokemon battle rules were
yeah,
established. Is that why?
yeah, essentially. I mean, in the main games, theoretically, there should be nothing stopping the wild Pokemon from just teaming up on you, but which they actually have done. There used to be horde battles where like 5 Pokemon at once would appear, and double battles where 2 at once.
Damn.
But yeah, in this game, it's got like this like clock kind of battle system where like you can see the turn order, and
Right.
there's agile style, I think, and strong style, and the strong ones will boost your attack and damage and the accuracy, but you're gonna go slower in your turns.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
then
see.
reverse, the other one does less damage, but you can maybe get 2 turns out of it. So basically you kind of gotta think like you can take,
Strategy.
yeah,
Gotta
it adds a little
strategize.
strategy. It's a little boring when it's just 1 versus 1. Like it kind of doesn't feel that intense, but like when there's like, I mean, just last night I was surrounded by like 4 level 62 Pokemon, and my Pokemon was like level 80.
Oh, damn.
It really evens, like it kind of like, not in a bad way, but makes your level a
Ups the
little pointless.
difficulty a little
Yeah,
bit.
it adds this
Makes
like,
it a little challenge.
yeah,
A little
and it's fun.
challenging.
It's a little
Good.
fresh. It's a little frustrating
Yeah.
sometimes, but yeah,
Well, what on the let's say on the hierarchy of your favorite Pokemon games? I
oof.
mean, this is a little bit different. Where does
Yeah.
it land? Is it like
I would
top
say
5, top
I
10,
definitely, I think it definitely slides in the
top
top 5.
151?
Yeah, top 150. I definitely would say, I like just off the bat, I would definitely say probably is close into the top 5. I don't.
Whoa, wow.
I mean, it's just really unique, a very good breath of fresh air for the whole franchise. Still, even going
Yeah,
back
I
to
like
playing
that.
it.
That's what I was most interested when I saw it. That's what I was most interested about. Is it kind of revamps the whole gameplay, right? This was before there was a second one that was kind of like action-y, right? It was this one, Pokemon Legends Arceus,
Oh,
right?
and
Is
then
that what it's
Let's
called?
Go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Pokemon
Let's
Let's
Go
Go.
is a little more. It's a lot less battle focused and more catching focused.
That's very catching
Um,
focused.
this one's like a
Well,
mix.
I'm always like impressed by the Japanese to be able to franchise something and make a million of them collectibles and get
Yeah,
everybody like involved in
that's
getting little
I,
Pokemon
I
plushies
was
and
thinking
Pokemon
about
keychains,
that. I was
all of that.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking about how crazy like this this thing is. Like you can go back and like look, like watch, like here in America, like news stories talking about it's like the biggest, like when it first started, it's like the new phenomena and all that
I
stuff, and
remember
it's like it just didn't stop. Like
the
normally
o-
something like
the
this would
biggest.
stop.
The one thing that I always remember when Pokemon came out, it was the big news story was it was giving kids seizures. That
Oh
was the
yeah,
one. I'm pretty sure that's what it was when you saw like I don't know if it was that or if it was Gundam or something, but I thought it was Pokemon.
Yeah,
And the
there's
joke
Pokemon.
or the news story was where people had heard about Pokemon was it was giving kids in Japan seizures because of the loud noises and the flashing lights on screen, right?
Yeah,
That was the biggest thing about Pokemon before it got here.
there's a yeah, I'm sure it's probably about the episode called Electric Soldier Porygon where the screen just it's actually like really bad.
Jesus.
Like it's like legit hard to kind of watch it.
Yeah, so that's a sort of cautionary tale here for anybody listening. If you do watch that one episode, what was it called? Porygon?
Electric Soldier Porygon.
Electric Soldier Porygon. Make sure you have your wallet on hand in case you need to shove it into your mouth because you're having a seizure and you don't want to swallow your tongue.
Yeah, it would probably be pretty hard to accidentally watch that episode. It never got an English version.
Just be careful if you're watching it on TV. Have your wallet or a spoon or something that you can again put in your mouth so you don't swallow your tongue when you have a seizure.
Yeah.
That's a PSA to everybody. Well, Pokemon Arceus, it sounds like a lot of fun. That's the one that I think I would be most interested in playing. But you know what? I've been doing this thing at the end of 2023 and the beginning of 2024 where I'm going back to old video game series that I never beat. So, Super Mario Wonder Super Mario Brothers Wonder was one of them where I never actually beat a Super Mario Brothers game before in the past. I mean, I played every single one, right? I've played when I was a kid, I played the shit out of Super Mario Brothers in itself, but of course it was too tough for me. I'm a baby gamer. I can't play anything hard. But finally, I beat for the first time in my life a Super Mario Brothers game fully from start to finish.
Nice.
Right? Big accomplishment for me.
Yeah.
Same thing with Zelda when Breath of the Wild came out, and later on, I played it later after it came out. I finally beat a Zelda game. Right, and never had beaten a Zelda game. Played the shit out of the original Zelda.
I see where this is going. I think
I talked about how, like, when I was a kid, my cousins had the original Zelda cartridge, and they all had a save file. And back then, there was like no saves on regular Nintendo games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I played the shit out of it and accidentally erased my cousin's file, and I felt so bad about it. I was like, oh. It was the worst. I ran away and never told anybody about it until like years later when he got married and I was at his wedding, like hammered. I was like, I erased your file in Zelda. I'm so sorry. But I played the shit out of Zelda games, right? Never beat a Zelda. Finally beat Breath of the Wild this year. Next, I want to take on a Metroid game.
Okay.
Right. I would like to, beat a Metroid finally again. Back in the original days, the original Metroid was way too difficult for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I played a lot of it. It was one of my favorite ones. Now I'd like to get Metroid Dread. It's been on my list forever to get and beat and finish.
Honestly, I haven't finished Dread. Sorry if I'm interrupting.
No. Go ahead.
I played. This had to have been like a couple years ago now. I had played. I was hanging out with my uncle, having a little gamer night thing, and I don't really know how, but started playing Metroid, like the original, and
original Metroid.
I'm like, honestly, I was like, this kind of sucks.
Spoiler alert: Samus is a girl.
Yes,
I just wanted to throw that out there.
I was like, this kind of sucks. But then he showed me Zero Mission, which is a remake of the first one.
And that's on Game Boy Advance?
Game Boy Advance.
Yes, great game. I played a lot of that.
My God. Yeah, dude. That like opened my eyes. I'm like, I could, dude, because like I had a DS, like that was like one of my like first like big consoles that I like really can remember, like that I was really obsessed with. My first was a GameCube that was just in my room. But the GameCube and DS really were like the ones I was like obsessed with. And if someone showed me Zero Mission as a kid, it would have been like going back in time and showing like a Victorian era child like a phone. I feel like I couldn't, like, I was sitting there, like the PS5 and stuff is out, and I'm playing Zero Mission. I'm like, this is crazy.
Zero Mission is so good.
And
so good.
Dude, like, so if you're gonna play, honestly, I think if you're gonna play Dread, you should finish Zero Mission at least first.
Well,
they're all connected.
I think that. I mean, they're all connected in the sense of what they're on the same planet or
like they're it's a story.
Oh no, a story. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like
Definitely, right.
five. There's like it's a five. That's like the fifth entry in the 2D
Oh,
Metroid
sure.
game.
Yeah, yeah. I know they're all connected like that, but I would just like to beat a Metroid game. And then after that, really, that's kind of all the big like. Would you say the tentpole Nintendo series are Mario, Zelda, and what would the third one be? Would you say Metroid?
I mean, it's like tough when you get into like if we're talking like straight in-house Nintendo, like
Yeah.
right now, that is like tough. I would
Oh
honestly
boy,
say
loaded question. I wasn't
I
expecting it to be so loaded.
I mean, it gets a little tough when you're just keeping it at 3. Like if I
Well,
was
okay.
if I
What's the
I
topper?
would say it'd be like 5 right now, honestly. I'd say
Mhm.
it's like we're specific. I'm just gonna refer specifically in-house Nintendo. So
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna count Fire Emblem, not gonna count
Right.
Kirby, not gonna count
Okay.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Um, because Pokemon would definitely be up there.
Oh, I
Otherwise,
forgot about Kirby.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Um, I would say, which I get confused on Kirby. I'm pretty sure it's technically not. But
Yeah.
anyways, I would say it's Mario and Zelda for sure.
Boom. Bingo
Uh,
bango.
and then I'd probably say Splatoon, Animal Crossing, and now Metroid.
Interesting.
Splatoon is huge, dude. Like,
Well, it's huge in Japan, right? They sold like more copies of Splatoon than people or
it
something.
was yeah, it was something like I vaguely
Something
remember that.
crazy.
Um,
Every Japanese person between the ages of
well, even
19 and 35 owned 2 copies of Splatoon.
I mean, even here, like to put it in perspective, like Nintendo does doesn't really do the whole like live service type games, and
Mhm.
Splatoon's about as close as it gets. And it's like, I mean, they don't also really double up on a system. Like if your system gets a 3D Mario game, that's pretty much it.
Mhm.
The Wii was somehow magically blessed to get 2 Galaxy games, which
2
Which
galaxies.
I still, to this day, don't understand why we don't have Mario Odyssey 2, but whatever, whatever.
They're waiting for the Switch 2, which we're
Yeah,
going to talk about, I would imagine,
it's
at
yeah,
some
it's a
point.
point in time. Yes, that could be a whole episode on its own if you let me
Mhm.
talk about that. Um, but no, and so like it's hard for me to. Man, there was a point to that. I'm starting to space out real quick.
Well, there's hard to say what the top
Oh
3
yeah, yeah.
are.
Basically, going back though, the top 3 is just a little tricky. I honestly, if I was just gonna stick to 3 right now, I would probably put Splatoon at that 3rd spot.
Damn.
Just with like the
Splatoon.
attention it gets. I mean, dude, they had a concert for that over there.
Damn. But,
Like, it wasn't even.
I mean,
It was like
they
these holograms and stuff. And it was huge turnout, dude. Like I thought it could have been any other celebrity there in that crowd. Like you could have like took that crowd and photoshopped another celebrity. You believe that? I mean, it was
wow.
huge. It's crazy. And it just
Well,
like I think Metroid has been idle for so long and just coming back. You know,
yeah.
I think that's what like beforehand. I have no clue what I would give that 5th spot to.
Well, let's say this. You wouldn't if you were Nintendo, right? You
Yeah.
would not launch a new console with a Metroid game.
Probably not. And I'm gonna do a shame.
We know you would launch it with a Mario. We know you would launch it with a Zelda.
I
Would you
honest
launch it with anything else?
I would a Pokemon for sure.
Pokemon.
I mean,
Mhm.
I know but no, I mean just Zelda or Mario is like your safest option. I
Oh
feel.
yeah. Well, we got that Zelda movie coming.
I
I know we
mean,
talked about it last time.
Metroid I think is not terrible, but when you're trying to like capitalize on like everyone can game type of thing, Metroid just isn't like
Metroid ain't it.
I think like, if you're trying to get like if little Timmy's trying to get like a console for Christmas or something, like Metroid is just gonna look like Halo, Halo bad, gun bad.
Oh yeah,
Timmy's
I
mom
can
ain't
see
gonna
that.
get that.
Right. And Timmy's mom's got it going on. We know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
Well, it's still so in my brain. I mean, I know these we're talking about top like I guess Nintendo poster franchises right now, but I'm thinking more about it like I'm taking this sort of task on more about like my childhood a little bit also, and a little bit about like, nostalgia. And not having beaten a Mario Brothers game, I'm glad I could check that one off. I feel accomplished now. Not having beaten a Zelda game, check that off. I feel accomplished. I think next probably will be Metroid, but after that, I'm a little bit lost. But if I'm going back into my past, into my childhood, I think after that I would say Castlevania. But I've beaten many a Castlevania game at this point. And then it would be Contra, which I hear they're making a new Contra game.
Really?
Contra, I believe it's Contra Ligma Mission is what it's called. Actually, I'm pretty sure. That's what that working title is.
There is actually a new Contra game, isn't there?
Yes, it's called Ligma Mission.
Is it really called Ligma Mission? I was about to say, there's no way Ligma nuts, man. I'm like, there's no.
But if that game comes out and it's good, I will pick it up and I will play it. I would love to go back and play the original Contra. I think that game did a lot of interesting things. It's just too difficult. You can't beat it without the Konami code. Without the, you can't do it. And I couldn't do it as a kid, but I freaking loved that game. I have like these flashes of memory of games that I played when I was a kid that I would just love to beat. So I think that's going to be part of my 2024 with these classic franchises. Pokemon, back to what we were talking about, Pokemon could be one of them. I mean, I have beaten Pokemon Red and Yellow, which were basically like the same game except you get Pikachu, right? Like
Yellow was essentially like hard mode.
Yeah, I remember having that on the Game Boy as a kid. And actually, the first time I played Pokemon was not in the physical copy. It's when the internet was first coming around, and I've discovered like coolroms.com, and I was able to download everything I ever wanted. I was like, what the fuck is this Pokemon?
Whoa, wait,
I'm sorry, wait, so we'll edit
you mean
out.
You obviously had a copy of Pokemon
yes, I'm sorry,
and then, of course, all the way back then, you extracted the files onto your computer.
Oh, let me leave a marker here in the recording. Edit out. Okay. Got it. Perfect. No, but that was like back in the day.
Yeah.
But no, that's a long way of saying, you're playing Arceus. Arceus would be something I'm interested in.
I would say that's a great entry point. Ironically, because it's so different, it's a good entry point into the series.
I like that, and I like them changing the formula around a little bit. My brain does not have the capacity to take on more than 151 characters in a game. I can't do it.
There's 242 in this game.
I can't do it. I burned out on Suikoden, which was 30 characters or something. I can't do it anymore.
That game has 30 characters?
I don't know. I can't remember. It's got a ridiculous amount of characters that you can recruit. That's what made it so novel. I had
no clue about that.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is like there's 175 stars that you can recruit, and it's like, well, okay, now the maid is coming and gonna fight in your party. It's like, well, that's kind of a throwaway, but whatever. I guess that counts as a character. But so I would get into it. So that's all you've been playing these days. Well, tell me about what's been going on, personally. What'd you do for New Year's? Did you?
I didn't even really do a whole lot. New Year's wasn't that interesting, honestly. Stayed home.
Yeah.
And
regular. That sounds normal.
I just played games with some friends.
Nice. What'd you play? You get it.
I think we were just chilling. I think we were chilling on Fortnite, and then we were just playing some Battle Royale. Then some of the mini the create maps on there.
Nice. I'm still on my list to get into is Fortnite, as they come out with more and more stuff, more cool things. The Fortnite festival with Guitar Hero is blowing my mind. I want to get it. Lego Fortnite you were talking about on the last episode.
Oh yeah.
I want to play it desperately. I just can't get the time to freaking play that and play Call of Duty and play the finals and play all the other competitive stuff
with live service games. It's too much. Everything wants my attention, and it has my attention. It's just only a couple get to experience. I would love to experience just I can't. I just cannot.
Who's got the time?
Yeah, and I think it's honestly gonna like probably gonna see. I mean, it happens every once in a while. Like Ubisoft had their own like battle royale thing a while back. I can't think what it's called, Showdown or something.
Was that the one where it was like Call of Duty movement meets their characters from other games?
No, or was
Splinter
it?
Cell people, or
I don't remember. But you know what I'm talking about.
I
Like
think
it was a little bit
so.
ago.
Yeah, but it got shut down like fast.
It got shut down like last year or something. It even had, anyways though, like I heard it wasn't even bad. It was just Countdown. I don't know. I don't know.
I can't
but
remember. I think I know which one you're talking about. This is not the one that you're saying that had like you could pick a faction from other Ubisoft games.
It's not
and
that
play as them. Okay, so it's not that one. I think that one got
that one's
canceled.
new. No, that one just got delayed.
Delayed. That's what it is.
That one is still being worked on, but anyways though, like that got shut down, and then other stuff kind of like also just like there's just like once in a while there's just like a big wave of like live service things that just get closed.
Oh yeah.
And it's like kind of
well, I'm waiting for like and like I was saying, I'm playing a little bit of the finals, and I do enjoy the finals. I like it a lot. I think it's got a lot of potential. I like watching it and I like playing it, but that strikes me as one of those that's going to get the axe at some point because it can't compete with the other live service games that are very popular, like Fortnite, like Call of Duty, like Apex, the big ones, like CSGO, the online competitive ones. But it has a lot of potential and it's a lot of fun. Like, I wish more people would play it, is what I'm trying to say. But actually, as I'm saying this, and as if anybody out there is listening, I hope that what Ty and I are talking about today and, on our couple of our different episodes helps you zero in on what you're going to be looking for, what you want to play, what we're interested in might get you interested in something as well. So I know there's not enough time to play all the games out there, but hearing what we talk about, maybe that'll, bring you to something new and interesting,
Yeah, I agree with that. There's so much to do and a little time.
Oh yes, not just in video games, but
life.
TV and
but
movies,
especially video games.
Yes, especially video games. My New Year's was supposed to be quiet, but it wasn't. I ended up going to a house party, which I didn't expect. I wanted to just stay in. I went, kicking and screaming. Turned out to be a lot of fun, but it was a long, not the way I wanted to start 2024. Let's just say. We just got back from vacation before that, so that was fun. We were in Mexico, sitting on the beach, not thinking about video games. Didn't bring my Switch, didn't do anything, didn't bring my, didn't work, did nothing but sit on the beach and relax. And now we're just back into video games. My gaming sort of diet has been pretty good right now. I've been eating. We've been eating here. Oh yeah.
What you been up to?
Well, before the New Year's, I had this setup, which was going great for me, which was I was playing one big game, one medium game, and a competitive game in between, right? Okay. So like every time. I was on Cyberpunk, playing it for a lot. I think I probably talked about it last time. Cyberpunk, great now. If you haven't played Cyberpunk, highly recommended. It's a lot of fun if you want to just turn your brain off and run around and slice people, you can do that. Or if you want to get in on the story, I think it's a pretty good story as well. Like, it's got some interesting twists and turns. I think it's a little bit on the nose. It's kind of like it's a little bit like Fight Club. If you ever seen Fight Club, it's kind of like taking a lot of inspiration from Fight Club, I feel like.
Okay.
But it's a good story, a lot of fun. They improved it tremendously from what I understand. I never played the buggy version, but I haven't run to a handful of game-breaking things. I only ran into one or two bugs that actually crashed my PS5, which I was surprised. Like, I didn't think that was possible. My PS5 crashed twice, like Cyberpunk. And I'm excited to get into Phantom Liberty, which I haven't even gotten to yet. But it's a long game. You could really sink your teeth into it if you want to. Highly recommend.
Those CD Projekt Red, the Witcher. That is so much.
Witcher, never heard of it. It was the Witcher.
It's like I think they made a game based off like the Netflix series.
Oh yeah, with what's his name? Henry Cavill, right? Superman, right?
Yeah.
It's got Superman fights with swords and monsters.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
remember that.
It's a
No,
small
they did
indie.
something like that. I don't know, some small actor. No, they did a great job with Cyberpunk now after
Yeah.
its buggy mess. I think if it didn't launch, with all the bugs, people would have really loved it. I think now you can get into it. If you haven't played it, highly recommend it. So I was playing that as my big game. And then as my medium game, I was playing Super Mario Wonder, which we talked about last time. I beat Super Mario Wonder. Excellent game. Definitely top 5 on the game of the years. I would say even potentially game of the year in the absence of Baldur's Gate. So I was playing that, beat it, very happy with it. I recommend it to everybody who I talk to. I'm even trying to get my wife to play it. I'm like, if you remember Super Mario Brothers? It's like the original Super Mario Brothers. Let's play it. So great game, beat it. And then I was like, it's scratching the itch for me of platformers, right? I want to play a good platformer. I want to play something I could really just like jump around and accomplish and beat. And I'm like, let me look around. I got recommended Celeste, and I've always wanted to play Celeste. So I got Celeste, played it, great game. Platforming is perfect, right?
You finished it?
Oh yeah. Well, I finished it in terms of I beat the first run of it. I'm not going to go to like the extra challenge B side, blah blah blah, like
okay,
C side. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But the main game was great. Like, the jumping was great. It's always very impressive to me that developers can take like one or two points or items in a game and spin it on its head a million different times. Each stage in that level is just a little different, a little bit different, a little bit tricky, but you can figure it out quickly and do it, and it's great. And like I'm always amazed, like, how did they think of it? How did they think that I have to jump here, dodge here, go down, grab this thing, and go out? Like, and they did it 150 times.
I don't understand how. I feel like I'd lose my mind trying to like a billion ways to solve the same puzzle.
I mean, it's amazing, and developers did that, and that's what I loved about Super Mario Wonder, right? Is each level was different and had a little twist, and they changed it.
Yeah, I don't get how they did that either. Like that game blows my mind. It just blows my mind.
Well, that's why these developers, I hope they're getting paid. Pay these people, because they're like puzzle masters, let's just say. And in my later years in life, I've always thought to myself, like, video games are, for me, for my experience, is beating whoever developed the game, right? Somebody laid this puzzle out, and I'm out here to beat them, basically. And these guys,
that's not a bad way to look at it.
They get so much better. They get so much smarter. And, like, From Software games are so difficult, but, they put those developers built those bosses, and guess what? I beat them. So I beat you. I think I approach Dungeons and Dragons a little bit like that as well. Like when I'm sitting down, playing Dungeons and Dragons with friends of mine, my whole point in the game is to beat the dungeon master, right? The dungeon master is trying to outsmart me. So how can I outsmart him to get through the trials that he set up, or him or her? But anyway, so I love the challenge of Celeste, beat it, went through it. And then I was like, okay, what else am I going to do? Well, we've just had the Game of the Year awards, and one of these games that came out that like kind of piqued my interest was the best indie game of the year, Cocoon. So I bought Cocoon. I knew it was only going to be like a 5 or 6 hour game. Played through it. Little puzzler, very nice, very fun.
I've had interest in that. I've seen it's on Game.
Yeah. Oh, is it on? Oh, right. And then I did see it was on Game Pass, and I realized I just wasted my money. But but yeah, I bought it on Steam, and I was like, "Fuck, it's on Game Pass." But anyway, it's fine. I'm happy to support the developer. I think it was developed by the same guy who made Limbo and Inside, or
yeah,
he didn't. He did the puzzles, I think.
I don't know. There's some like weird split between the Limbo people. Pretty sure, or the Inside. There's something happened at one point in time or another.
Oh, where they just split off.
Yeah, so like one.
Well,
making one game another.
Yeah, this guy did one of the two, or he didn't do the full game, but he did the puzzles or something on it. But he was involved in it, so I played it, and it was cute. Like, it's one of those games where where it's very abstract, the story, which is fine by me. Like, I don't really care too much about stories in a puzzle game, like especially in Celeste. I really didn't care for the story that much, but anyway, I like the puzzles, but I didn't really, it's like, oh, the writing is a little bit whack, and I don't know. But so there wasn't like any outward story written on this, which was cool, which is interesting. So you had to kind of interpret everything, a little bit abstract. But then towards the end, and I realized this was just like a 6-hour experience. Towards the end, it seemed like the solving of the puzzles was a little bit formulaic towards the end. It's like, okay, they did this whole thing where you have like these marbles or these balls, and you're like this little insect, alien robot insect character that has these balls, and you could essentially go into different worlds carrying these balls. I know it's hard to visualize, but it's all like a puzzle of going into these worlds and out of these worlds, and then having these worlds interact within each other. And then towards the end, it was like, okay, so I know the answer is I'm going to have to go into one of these worlds and come out of one of these worlds and then put another world inside a world. It was like, just what's the combination at the end? That was about it, which was great.
This explanation is really, I know you're trying hard. I'm just trying to, it's a lot
honestly,
to wrap your head around.
It's trying to like describe a fucking magic eye painting, right? Look, just believe me. I know it looks crazy, but it's a ship on the water. Okay, just stare at it for long enough, and you'll see that it's a boat. No, but I would suggest to anybody who's interested in puzzle games, it's a nice puzzle. It's cute. The graphics look good. The story is out there, but like I said, open to interpretation. And it's just a 6-hour experience, so it was easy. I scratched the surface, and towards the end with these puzzle games, the whole satisfaction, right, is solving the puzzle and feeling like you accomplished something and that you're smart. And it did that. It achieved it. I would love to play some of the other indie games of 2024 to see if that is the best indie game of the year. I probably would lean towards no, only because I think I played about an hour of Pizza Tower, and I really enjoyed that, and I want to get back into that. And of course, we know Dave the Diver is probably the #1 indie game of 2024. But
I wanted to play.
I know I want to play that also.
I forgot. I almost said that earlier when you're like, I was trying to think of like other indie games. Like, oh, Dave the Diver. I'm like, that's not one. I forgot.
That's not really indie.
It's not really an indie.
Indie, yeah. So I'm curious to know how it stacks up to if I complete Pizza Tower, which one I have more fun with. I feel like I like the personality of Pizza Tower a little bit better. The art style is like a throwback to a Rocko's Modern Life 90s cartoon.
Yeah, I was watching my friend play it, and I was like, that's what it gave me, the vibes of it. It looked like he played like a WarioWare, or not WarioWare, but exactly. Wario Land.
Wario game, yeah.
And but it looked like Rocko's Modern Life. It basically looks like a fake game they'd make for Rocko's.
Yes, it does. It looks like it would be on a cartoon of a character playing a game, right?
Yeah.
I want to go back and play that Cocoon, but all in all, to say Cocoon was very good. It wasn't, like I said, it was quick. It wasn't too expensive, and it makes you feel, once you solve the puzzles, it makes you feel like a genius, and that's what's great about these games, right? It makes you feel like you're the greatest gamer alive.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you want that satisfaction, play it. I know I didn't really describe the puzzles that well, but you'll get it.
Yeah, just trust him. It may look gold and white, but that dress was black and.
Yes, exactly. Right. It was the Laurel Yanny of it. Laurel Yanny. So I played that. I finished that. And then I tried so after the Game Awards, they announced that new DLC for God of War came out.
Oh yeah.
Or was coming out.
Yep.
So I played through. Then I again went to another game. Didn't go back to Cyberpunk after all this time, right? So I kept going from game to game to game, and then played through the God of War DLC, which was excellent. And by excellent, nice. I mean it wrapped up this. It wraps around the story from the original God of Wars, which is cool. It incorporates the original God of War stories into this. So, you hear about different things that Kratos has done in Greece and in and out his other life, which is awesome. But I'll tell you, the #1 thing for this for me was the gameplay. So in the first God of War remake, or the God of War when he's in Norse mythology, right? The first one.
Mhm.
There was a world at one point that you go into. I think it was Niflheim, but I'm gonna forget which one it is. All these Norse worlds, whatever. But it was essentially a roguelike world
I
where you went
remember
into.
I remember you
Yeah, go
playing
ahead.
that a lot. I was just
Oh, yeah.
saying because you stream it over at twitch.tv/DefNotMaddie
Oh, thanks for the plug. Def._Maddie. Yeah, get it right in case anybody's gonna.
Yep.
Yeah, I played that world like a lot because essentially what it was is it was like an extra to the game. It was completely optional area where you go into this world and it becomes essentially a roguelike where you start with all the stuff that you have, but if you die in this like little world, you start from the beginning with nothing that you collected. You need to go in, you can only spend a little bit of time in the world, and then you need to exit and you get an upgrade material that you can only use in the world. It essentially the basics of an RPG roguelike, right? In
Mhm.
the original God of War. And I remember saying to myself, wow, this is my favorite part of the game. Like, I want to do this more. I wish there was a whole game like this. Then fast forward to God of War 2, Ragnarok, and I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh, I remember that world. You get to go back to that world. I want to go to it immediately, and you go to it, and it's nothing like that. There's no roguelike aspect of the game. Like, fuck, they cut my favorite part of the game out. They cut. I was so
Little
pissed.
did he know what they were cooking.
They were building a whole DLC that's just like that. So essentially, it's a roguelike. You're in this Valhalla. You start with nothing except all of the abilities, like all of the moves that you can use at a very basic level. And you go into Valhalla and you collect random power-ups, random moves, random upgrades, and you collect an upgradable material that when you die you start over with, and then you continue to upgrade your stats, and you go in and you run this gauntlet of an ever-changing challenges within this roguelike, and it's awesome. And I played through it a lot, and you need to beat it like 3 or 4 times to get the final ending, which I haven't done yet. But essentially what they did is they took all of the best pieces that everybody loves about Hades and they put it into God of War. It's Hades meets God of War, or
It
Hades
looks
meets
so
Hades.
interesting, dude. It makes me actually want
Super
to.
good.
I gotta get into those games. Definitely on the
Oh
list
yeah.
this year.
Oh, you absolutely should. This DLC is great, and it's free.
I heard it's
You
free,
get it
and
free.
I heard it's like it's massive DLC for something that's free, which is like that's cool. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, I wish they would make a full game like that because the combat in these new God of Wars was very good. It was way better than, it had evolved from the original God of Wars into what it is now, which is great. Now they've just taken it and put so much more combat into it, all skill based, a little bit of luck. It's fantastic. I would highly recommend it. And I have a soft spot in my heart for games that take the previous storylines in them and then factor them into, or retcon them, right? Bring them back into this new world, which I was always blown away that Metal Gear Solid did that for the original Metal Gears. And they do that in this game, right? They take all of the stuff that he did in his past lives and they bring it into what was a reboot of the game, right? So it's great. I love it. And playing a lot of Call of Duty. Still a lot of Call of Duty. Still sweating.
Yeah, every day on my computer, I see in the bottom right, Def Not Mad, Call of Duty.
Oh God, on the Warzone. Yeah, we're burning it down. I'm still terrible at it, and as we get me and the boys are finally back to playing it. I got the local boys playing all the time. It's a lot of fun just to chill with your friends, sweat your asses off. And it continues to get harder and harder and harder as people get better and better at the game. So if you haven't played Warzone yet, I would say get in now, because in a week, people are going to be like fucking, slide canceling your face off in a second. So get into it. I love it. I think they did a great job with Warzone this go around. High hopes for when they bring back Verdansk, if they ever do. Hopefully they do. And I'm having a lot of fun. A lot of fun with it. They've made a lot of smart changes in this Warzone. If this is going to be the Warzone minute, in case anybody wants to shut shut down the podcast. But if you played the original Warzone, it struck at a time in, life in the United States that we, obviously in the world where we were in a pandemic and everybody was in their house and nobody knew maybe the layman for video games weren't playing Fortnite and didn't really know what a battle royale was. They got it, but they knew Call of Duty. They got into Warzone, and it just hit for everybody. And then, the Activision and Microsoft, they couldn't strike that, couldn't catch lightning in a bottle again with the other Warzones. And I feel like they've done a really great job with this one, making smart changes to the formula where they've made the map smaller. They've brought in fewer players. They've given you more times to come back where you're not always dying and back to the loading screen over and over and over again. They've somehow managed to balance the guns a little bit better. The big problem, and will always be the problem, and the only reason I ever die is because of the cheaters. The freaking cheaters.
Oh yeah,
out
the
there.
only
They're
reason you
cheating.
ever die.
That's it. Bunch
Dude.
of cheaters
Yeah,
out
what the
there with their
heck?
hacks and their Cronuses and their strike packs. They're all cheating. But other than the cheaters, they did a great job with this Call of Duty. And Ty, I would love you to play it. And play
Bro,
with me at some point.
here, if you just, dude, all I gotta get is like another SSD, and I'll hop on.
That's what all of my friends say. They're like, I don't have 150 gigs.
I really don't even have the space for it.
Who's got that? Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
They haven't fixed the menus.
Call me up when they bring back Blackout.
Oh, Blackout. Right. Exactly. Again, Blackout was like, Blackout was great from what I understand, but not many people played it. Like, it wasn't.
I mean, it was like the end of like that game's life anyway.
Right.
So like, it kind of was random.
Yeah, completely random.
I just remember one day like getting home from school and hopping on and seeing that. I'm like, what is this?
What the heck is that? Blackout? I'll check that out.
Yeah.
But then they hit with Warzone, and like I said, it was lightning in a bottle. Like, everybody was home. Everybody had Call of Duty, or it was free, and all their friends were like, hey, we should check this out. We got nothing to do. We don't have to get up early for work anymore because nobody's going into the office. So, let's just play this till 3 o'clock in the morning. And it worked. But they just haven't been able to catch on. Since they've been, people have a lot of feelings about Call of Duty, let's just say. But I've been playing that, still playing the shit out of that. And now I'm looking forward to new games coming out in January. I'm looking forward to what's happening around the corner. I'm looking forward to games in 2024. Always trying to find new experiences here, but always playing something is the bottom line.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. It's freaking cold as hell. It's below 30 degrees, but I know you've had some bad weather over by you.
It's not even. It's just been really cold, a little windy,
freezing.
Yeah, it's been by a little. I mean, I'm getting a temperature check right now. It's a nice -1.
Jesus, that's so cold.
That's not even. That's not the wind chill. Yeah.
Oh, like, good lord.
I guess if anyone watching like on YouTube is wondering what on earth I'm wearing right now, I'm basically wearing a giant.
Good. I hope you got this. I can't see what you're wearing right now, but when I tune into the YouTube, I'm gonna check it. I hope you got the Snuggie on at least.
I do. It's called a comfy on the inside. It's got a white fluff. Yeah.
Man, they ripped off Snuggie so bad.
But it's so much better than a Snuggie. It's like the outside of a Snuggie, but the inside's like actually not useless like a Snuggie.
Man, the Snuggie people are rolling in their graves right now.
They should.
Yeah, it's like below 30 here, which is cold also.
Below 30? Oh, dude, I honestly thought you were saying they.
Oh no, it's just below 30 degrees Fahrenheit here. And it's getting colder and colder and colder, but that's perfect environment to be, snuggled up with your loved ones playing video games on the couch co-op, or maybe in front of a camera and at your desk,
Snuggled up with your loved ones in front of a camera? I don't know if we can talk about
or. Well, you could do that too. Listen, I'm not trying to yuck on anyone's yums here. I'm not saying anything, but it's a great time to be playing games. Well, before we get to the headlines and stuff, one quick thing
Yes.
Ty, have you been watching anything on TV? Watching any movies? Anything outside of video games in entertainment? I know that we didn't really talk about this,
Yeah. No,
but anything good?
I man, so I mean, since last time I saw the Godzilla movie.
Oh, I wanted to, oh,
Uh,
right.
yeah.
Right after we recorded our last episode,
I
you were going
literally
that night to see
left.
Godzilla.
Yeah,
Tell me
got
about it.
Godzilla minus one. That's what it was, dude. That movie was just so cool. It was a good like I was really surprised. Like it had like a, s- a story in a sense. Like there's
I've
like
heard only
the story is very touching, and it's I don't really want to dive too much into it. Not only because I
no
don't. No,
spoilers.
it's not even a spoiler sense. I just
Mothra.
mean
Does
I just
Mothra come out?
no, it's just
Okay,
Godzilla.
okay.
Um,
I thought you were gonna say, like, I
no, no,
can't
no. No.
say, and then which I case I would know
It's
Mothra came out.
it's more so like the actual story itself. Like I just don't think it's really my place to speak on it because like I don't
Mhm.
necessarily understand everything. But it's interesting seeing a movie that like that's one thing I like about where we live is that like comments on like just not just like just the current state of our own country, whether it's politics,
Mhm.
the what's going on cultural wise. No, I don't want to even like get
Oh
into all
boy.
that. But the thing is, what I'm saying here is in this movie, there's touches on like Japanese politics and culture
Mm.
that I am able to pick up on. It's very not like weird in a bad way, but just it's interesting because like how many movies here are all about if they have like a tone like that, it's about something going on in our country. So it's
Yeah.
interesting seeing a movie where it's like someone like a totally different country. Like I just thought it was a interesting experience, like that part alone. That I mean, I don't really know how or when I would experience something like that again, but it left me thinking. Like it just left me
Mm.
thinking that
Mm.
I was like, I've never had that experience until now, and that was very odd to me. Because a lot of the movies we see here are, well, from here in general.
Well, that's the number one sign for me that this form of entertainment, whatever it is, has captured you in a way and is a great piece, a great work, right? Is that
Yeah.
it's got you thinking and you're going home and you're thinking about it and you're looking, maybe you're going online, you're looking up more information about whatever you
Mm-hmm.
just saw, or you're going back for more lore, or you're saying to yourself, how does that relate to things that they did in the past, right?
Yeah.
That to me is the number one indicator of a top tier piece of art, a top tier work. So it got you thinking.
Yeah. So that was and that aside as well, the movie, the effects were crazy. I looked up the budget.
Ooh,
I don't remember it, but it was like it looks so much better than some of these movies coming out right now that have like triple digits for the millions, like
really?
hundreds of millions of dollars. I think this one might have. I guess I don't actually know how much it cost. It was way way lower than anything that came out recently.
Damn. Well, is
Um,
but so getting onto though the story of it, does it take is it like a prequel? Is it like the
I think it's
start of
just. I mean,
Godzilla?
it has nothing to do with like the like Godzilla Kong stuff going on.
Right, yeah, so
It's
no
more
King
in.
Kong in
It's
this.
more in line with like the classic type of thing going on. Godzilla destroying a city.
Uh-huh. Godzilla
I I
destroys
have
Tokyo.
I have no clue if it has any sort of connection to any of that stuff. Um, from my understanding, uh, at some point in time, like the people in the movie, like Godzilla is like a known thing to be a rumor. It seemed like. Other than
Oh,
that,
so
but
they
it
they,
seemed
they
like it
had
was its own
oh
thing.
no, Godzilla is coming
Yeah.
back, that kind of
No,
thing. He's coming
none of
from the
that.
briny deep depths.
None of that. It was just more so like there's an island and
Mystery Island.
people on that island knew about him, and that's where the first like report was of him. I don't know.
That sounds like every one of these movies.
Yeah. Well, so it's like it takes place like right at the end of World War II is when it starts.
Well, one thing I've noticed about Japan, we went on vacation there in October. I feel like a lot of their media and a lot of history, understandably, starts after World War II, right?
Oh
Because that
yeah.
was such a crucial turning
Mm-hmm.
point in their culture.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
So I mean, I don't think it has anything to do with the other. To answer that
Oh,
question, I think it's just a movie that exists. The
standalone.
Yeah,
That's it.
standalone type of thing.
In its own timeline, Godzilla minus one, is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
yeah,
Godzilla minus one. And it was good. It was
yeah.
action
It was
packed.
super cool, action packed. Got me thinking.
Any big stars in it, or just
I would have no. I mean, it's a. I
nobody you
don't know.
recommend?
I don't know like notable Japanese film stars. I guess.
This is going to be the perfect movie for me because I know it's going to be on a plane soon, and I'm going to
Yeah.
watch it. For me, I think I may have said this last time, but for me, movies go down to two categories: plane movies and non-plane movies. This seems like it would be the perfect plane movie. It's
I
going to
would
have
say,
great special effects.
yeah,
You're going to be
it's
able
gonna
to
be cool.
watch it on a,
I
I'm
mean,
not gonna have to.
honestly, I would say watch it on the best screen possible, but
Oh, it's
but
got the graphic.
it visually is really cool. So
Ooh, I want to catch it.
I don't know. I don't know if I would say I don't know if I'd recommend it, but it definitely would take up like probably a whole. It's not that long of a movie, so if it's like a short flight for
Oh, cool.
sure. But then after that though, for media wise, I'm really blanking. I swear. Oh, I saw Wonka at the end of last
Wonka.
or early
Oh,
this year. End of last?
with
I don't remember.
Timothy Chalamet,
Yes,
my favorite
I
young actor.
I went in with the lowest expectations possible. I didn't read any of the
Mhm.
reviews or anything. I just thought like in my head, I was like, who was asking for this? I don't know who was asking for it, but whoever asked for it, thank you so much. That was one of the most fun movies I've seen that year.
Wow.
I don't know if I could say it was the best. It was just really fun
It was
though.
fun. Was there
It's a
was there music?
musical.
It is a music. Okay, a
Yeah.
musical. Okay. I wasn't quite sure about that, seeing the previews and stuff. I know there was
And
songs and stuff, so
there's
there's
songs
a
in it.
full-on
I guess I
musical.
wouldn't say it's like necessarily a musical, but like
Mhm.
I don't really know what quantifies as a musical anymore, but there's songs, multiple songs, and they're
Yeah.
really good. One of them is really catchy. That's just been in
Wow.
my head.
That's awesome.
It was touching. I mean, like in terms of
And
like
this
connecting.
was basically Wonka minus one, right? This is
It,
the prequel of Wonka's.
yeah, well, that's the thing. I actually was about to say. I don't really know if it's supposed to connect to any of them because the world is insane. Like the world is so wacky, and I love it. It like definitely taps
Yeah.
into like the Wonka as a candy like legit exists now. There's like Willy
Yeah.
Wonka
Yeah.
nerds,
Huge.
like
Right.
nerds, gobstoppers, that type of stuff. You
Right.
know, those are real things, and like with like the creatures and stuff on there, all weird stuff like that. And it
Mhm.
definitely taps more into the weird side.
The magical.
Yeah, the magical,
The
which is really fun.
side
But
of
then
candy.
it makes you wonder what happened like in like the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the
Uh-huh.
Chocolate Factory.
Mhm.
Why are those worlds not? They're pretty grounded outside of the Chocolate Factory.
True. Yeah,
And
they look very grim, actually. If you
yeah,
watch the original
yeah.
Charlie and the Chocolate
If
Factory, you got fucking his old granddad in the bed for years and years. Just live. Why is he just sleeping in bed for so many years?
so
What brought him to that part
yeah,
of his life where he's
yeah.
there?
I need
What could be
that. I
so
need
bad?
that as a solo movie.
That we need as the
Yeah,
prequel. I forget his
yeah.
name. It was like Granddad Tommy or something.
Um, but yeah,
He's in
that's
bed his whole life.
that's the that is like the one thing about that movie that I feel a little confused on. I mean, I'm glad to be, like honestly, I'm just like, so did they just like this just seemed like a movie for fun more than anything.
Mhm.
It's weird that they
But
took a prequel approach, like framed it as a prequel, and it doesn't really connect to anything, but I welcome it.
oh yeah.
So I
Oh
guess
well, so 2
one-
thumbs up.
yeah, 2 thumbs up though. 2 thumbs.
Timothy Chalamet, great in it.
Yeah.
His acting was very good.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's fun. Like I've never seen any. I want to watch Dune, but
Oh yeah, Dune, very good. They got the
yeah,
new one coming out soon,
yeah,
I think, this
yeah,
year.
like May or something.
Oh, I'll be there. I'll be watching it for sure. I'm not gonna go to a movie theater, but I will watch it at some point.
Do you not go
Uh,
to a movie theater?
No, I don't do that anymore.
Oh, really?
I found that, in fact, not only do I not want to go to a movie theater, but I would like it if all movie theaters burned to the ground and there were never
Why?
any movie
Well,
theaters
I
ever.
need like a
It's
quick
just
summary
why
on why.
I what are they offering to me that I can't get at home in a
Expensive
better
popcorn.
experience? Oh, love it. $12 a tub,
I
right?
guess for me, well, I just like sharing the experience.
That's what everybody says.
I
The
know.
experience. I love sharing it. I don't want to sit next to somebody I don't know and hear them laughing at these stupid jokes. Like, what experience? If I want that experience, I'll get on the subway. Like, why don't I need to go to a movie to get that experience?
Okay,
That's the
well, I
most
guess like okay for
bullshit
me,
thing I've ever heard.
for me, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is a perfect example. I saw that on like the opening, like day before type open, so it was like all fans there. And anytime something cool happened, like just sharing that like reaction. I mean, I went with like 8 friends as well.
See, that's the thing that I hate about it, right? You've got a stranger there who's the Five Nights at Freddy's fanatic, and they're like, "Oh, that's Freddy Fazbear.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, oh, he didn't do that in the game. Oh, wait, no, he did. Oh, that's from Five Nights at Freddy's episode 3." And they're yelling this at the screen, okay. Let me experience this. I don't want to hear your commentary. I'm only listening. The only podcast that I need in my life is the Game Boys Unplugged podcast to hear their commentary. I don't need to hear your commentary.
I guess for me, I don't know. It's something. It sounds really cheap. Mainly, it is cheap. There's something about it.
You want to be around the community.
You know, I would be lying if I said there weren't times I'd be irritated. I wish I was watching this at home. Like that would be such a lie. But then there's times when I'm watching like a movie and I just want, like, I really wish I saw this on a big screen.
Yeah. Well, you can get your Apple headset coming out now for $3,000, and you get a huge screen all the time, surround sound. You get your Oculus. You can watch movies in it at a 900-inch screen. Yeah, no, I hear that.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, though.
For me, it's not just movies. It's sporting events. Like, there's no reason for me ever to go to a football game. I love the Giants. I'm a big Giants fan. I went to, opening game in the new stadium. Big Yankees fan, went to opening game in the new stadium. Never want to go to a sporting event again. Because I got to sit next to some drunk asshole who doesn't care about the game, who just cares about heckling what other fans from the other team are inside the game. And they had 15 beers before the game, and they're not even paying attention to the game. And I can't see anything that's going on. They're all the way down at the other end. Like, I'd rather be watching it on TV in the comfort of my own home.
I see. I'm slowly getting into a little bit of football recently.
Oh,
I think it's interesting.
Right. You going for the Pack?
Oh, no.
No, you're the Vikings.
No, I'm not doing either.
No,
nothing. No team alliance. I'm just watching. Getting the groundwork. I'm catching up. I'm catching up on the seasons. I'm on season 1 of football.
Okay,
Had to start from the beginning. Gotta get on the lore, the storyline.
The Jets don't ever win.
Yeah,
they make you think they're gonna be good, but.
Yeah, I'm catching up on the storyline. There's the current one going on with Taylor Swift. I'm like, I need to know what happened from season 1 to like 50 first. How did we get here? But in all seriousness, though, yeah, I totally agree with that 100%. I just like I've never been to a football, like an actual football game.
Yeah.
I've been to a couple baseball games. I like doing, like, I don't know what they're called, but like the smaller baseball league.
Oh, like a double A. Minor league.
Yeah, minor league. Yes, I like minor those. League games those are fun.
But the reason they're fun is not because baseball is good.
No, it's because that little like event. It's like a show. It's like a
dollar beer night, or eat your face off with all you can eat hot dogs, like that kind of thing at the park. Dogs at the park.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny to me that the selling point on that is not the baseball.
Yeah.
Like nobody's out there like, oh yeah, I gotta catch fucking Shohei Ohtani in his minor league debut. Nobody
Yeah.
does that,
No.
right? It's for that other shit.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just for a little fun. So
Yeah.
that's a lot different. But other than that, like the only sport that I feel like I could see
Esports.
It's
What about esports?
I don't.
That's it.
I feel like that, honestly, even though it would be way harder to see it in person, I feel like that would be more fun in person than just watching it online.
Well, it would be basically like watching a football game, except without deodorant. Is the only thing.
Exactly.
God damn.
And probably
burn.
like probably 100% less beers though as well.
Burned video game fans.
Would you rather smell bad or smell like alcohol?
Smell bad, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I hate how drunk people get at these events. At least with movies, people aren't getting hammered beforehand. I assume some are, but there's a whole culture.
There's an insane tailgate outside for the FNAF movie. Insane, dude. Watching Markiplier's Let's Play all the way for the movie.
That's hilarious. No, I know there is some drinking before movies, but the people are just crazy. Anyway, long story short of saying, I get a better experience at home, watching movies, watching TV, that I don't want to go to a live event for anymore. That's it. Maybe I'm old, but I want to take it all in. But it sounds like you got some two good movies in.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for in terms of I haven't really watched any in it. I would like to get back into.
I've been watching a lot of good
shows. Yeah, well, I want to spin it on
shows.
you. What have you been?
Oh yeah, I've been on TV shows. I finally got a free trial of Apple TV, which, in case you've never seen anything on Apple TV, I don't blame you, because I also haven't, because who the fuck is gonna get Apple TV? But they got a lot of good shows on
Yeah,
there.
I've heard that. It's insane budgets.
Huge. I started watching the show The Foundation, which is based on an Isaac Asimov novel or series, and he's the godfather of sci-fi or something like that. But it's a huge sci-fi show that I was not aware of, and the budget, the set design, the graphics, the cinematography, even the acting is top tier. And it's holy shit, I can't believe that it looks so good. And this has been hidden on Apple TV for me for so long.
Yeah.
So I've been watching The Foundation. Great sci-fi, really, really hardcore sci-fi. Think back on Alien, almost that kind of dirty sci-fi. It's great. Highly recommended. If anybody gets into it and wants to talk about it, message me. I want to talk more about it. Then I also on there, I've been watching Severance, which is also sci-fi. Apple TV's got sci-fi up the wazoo. Apple TV's got sci-fi.
Okay.
So
it has a
Severance,
Godzilla show.
Yeah, I haven't checked that one out, but it's been hot on the top lists for a while.
Yeah, I know my dad's been watching.
Does he like it?
I know he really.
Sure. I've heard good things about it, but
there's one for the mom
sci-fi
crowd, one for the dad crowd.
Yeah, you got to get got to get everybody. Severance is great. It's a story about about a current events time, right? Current timeline, 2024, let's say, where a company has figured out a way or has come out with a technology to essentially sever your psyche from for certain time periods. And I know it's kind of hard to explain, but essentially what it means is you can have your brain severed from your body for certain periods of the day. And what they do is they do that for your working hours. So essentially, when you go to work, your brain shuts off from 9 to 5, and then you immediately wake up outside of work. So essentially, you have your outside persona, your life persona, and then you've got your work persona.
That sounds like the It sounds so dark, but at the same time, if we're having to work, God, I would love to do that.
Yes, exactly. So that's what's great about it is you hit the nail on the head there. It sounds great on the surface, right? Who wouldn't want that? But there has this so many dark implications that you don't
Uh-huh.
think of immediately. So essentially what happens is your work persona is its own persona, right? They wake up and all their life is at work. And all they think about is work stuff. And then when you go back, all you think about is outside stuff. So essentially, you sever your brain, but you have two personas now at this
Man,
point.
that's
And the
crazy.
implications about it,
That sounds kind of awesome.
it's a great idea for a show. And then like big actors will just come out of the woodwork. Like, oh my God, Christopher Walken's in this. Like 6 episodes in, it's like, what the hell? Okay, he's here now. And like, like actors just show up in these Apple TV shows that you don't expect. So I watched that. That was great. I hope that there's going to be another season. I don't know if there will be. It got huge praise when it came out, but I think the strikes and things like kind of derailed it for a while. So I'm going to be watching that. Great show. And we've been looking for other shows. Oh, right, Fargo. Fargo's obviously out now this season. I think the season finale is next week. Fargo's great. If you haven't seen Fargo on FX, they do a really good job of capturing the spirit of the original movie into bite-sized one-season storylines, so you can watch any season at any point you want. And they're all great stories with great acting, and a lot of these big-name actors will come back and do TV in one of these in one of these seasons, like what's his name, Bilbo Baggins in the remakes. He was in Sherlock. He's one of the actors.
I can't think. Wait,
Martin Freeman.
Oh.
Martin, I think that's his
I
name.
almost
He
said
does.
Elijah Wood, but that's or wait,
Yeah, that's Frodo.
that's
from
Frodo.
the
Yeah,
2000s.
yeah.
He's still around doing something, I think. So Martin Freeman's in one of them. They've got oh God, I can't think. I can picture their faces, but I can't think their names now. But big stars are in these seasons of Fargo. This season, it's God. Now I can't freaking think of his name either. A lot of actors whose names
people doing things.
Yes, they're very John Hamm. John Hamm is in this new season, and John Hamm has had an interesting career where he hit it big on Mad Men, and then has kind of just been in little things since. Hasn't been able to strike gold again, but he's really good in this. They come with these these big actors and these stories. Great story, great bite-sized bit that you can just watch. You like junk food and be done with after one season. So Fargo, highly recommended. Acting is great, storyline's great, cinematography is great, and they capture the spirit of the original movie. And then, coming up is the new True Detective season is happening, which I'm excited for. We just finished the third season of True Detective. Again, bite-sized stories. They're not related to each other, so you can watch season 1, season 2, season 3 in any order. But again, huge actors on these HBO shows that come back and do these seasons. I think the first one was Matthew McConaughey and another guy. Great actors who did the first season. Gosh, my actor brain is blanking, which normally doesn't happen. But this new season of True Detective is coming out in soon. I think like next week. So I'll be watching that, and that's what I've been watching on TV.
Nice.
That's about it. Everything out there. Whoa. Okay, so we've been going for a while. We haven't really talked about video games. Holy shit. Okay, so if you wanted to fast forward to here, we could talk about games now at this point. Just an hour and 19 minutes in. You want to get right into the headlines? Any big headlines happening?
I think. Well, ironically, I think we should. This kind of relates. You're just talking about TV shows and stuff. How about the one you pointed out to me? The Last of Us sweeping the creative arts at the Emmys.
Yes, and this is no surprise to anybody who watched The Last of Us, but The Last of Us is sweeping all of the awards in award season. Emmys, Golden Globes.
It's either getting nominated or winning.
Yes.
which is
Which is
cool.
fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
here it is for a video game to escape the genre of video games and go into mainstream zeitgeist here.
Uh-huh.
It's great for games. It's great for for getting the word out that video games can tell a prestige story. I love to hear more things about this. What are your thoughts on that? On that,
I
Ty?
like just winning or what? Like what exactly?
Well, both
Just
the Last
like
of Us TV show in
oh
general,
well. So
like coming from a video game.
as a show in general, man, like so I've never played the game, so
Yeah,
maybe
same,
I
same.
probably will at some point, hopefully this year. But I don't think there's ever been like a show where like every episode I feel like made me at least almost cry.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's just so much character and like there's so much in one episode. I mean they were like hour and a half or something long
Hmm.
episode. Still like it was just incredible. Like I think it was probably my first like HBO show. It was like every episode
Oh,
was like a movie, like with the
oh
budget.
yeah.
I'm like, "Whoa, this is crazy," and yeah, it was crazy. Just I didn't know what was gonna happen next every time, and that ending. You know, I don't want to spoil it because it's still pretty new as a
No
show.
spoilers. Yeah.
But the ending was like, wow. I was just like, it was going back to Godzilla a bit, leaves you thinking.
Leaves you
Saying,
thinking. Got you thinking about it.
really thinking, and it's just like I'm excited for whatever's next. They're talking
Oh
about.
yes.
I've seen rumors that there might be a show focusing on like other survivors' stories, which
Good.
which I think it could be really interesting if done correctly.
Hmm.
I think like I mean some of the best parts of the show, ironically, are like not focused on the two main characters.
Uh-huh.
Like or when other characters get involved, it's everyone fighting in this like insane, not fighting, just trying to survive in this insane world, and it's got premise to it.
Yes.
I don't really want it to be sucked dry, but
Right.
and I heard like the second season might not exactly be the second game, but it might like
Hmm.
help lead up to the second game, which I'm interested in as well, like help pad things out. I'm sure they don't want this to end instantly, but I really can't see it going on for more than 4 seasons at the very like most.
Hmm.
I could see like a season 2 leading up to season 3 to cap off the second game. And I'm sure by that time, maybe a third game. I'm sure they're probably making a part 3. Someone watching like,
Yeah.
part 2 ended in a way that, no way. I'm like, I
Well,
don't,
they're getting on their keyboards right now to
yeah,
tell you
yeah. Well,
this.
get off the keyboard. Let me just
Well,
theorize.
actually,
Yeah, it is. So, but in all seriousness, though, it's cool to see like games finally not being the laughing stock of movies,
yes,
even though I think, or like
yes.
movie and TV,
Entertainment in general.
even though I think like it's been over for so much longer, and it's crazy to me it's taken this long to like have people take it a little more serious. I don't think it.
Mhm.
I don't think it should have taken like a TVMA rated show for people to be like, "Oh wait, video game serious?"
Right.
Like I don't know.
Of course, no, we've been shouting it from the rooftops as gamers
Yeah.
for years and years and years.
That
I mean,
Street
and it's
Fighter
not.
2 was the best movie ever.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Ready Player One was supposed to, take all that, and take it away.
That
But
movie's pretty fun. I like
I
that
actually
one.
haven't seen it. I would
Uh,
love to watch it. I want to see all my characters on the big screen.
Yeah.
And I want to live in that world. I want to live in a virtual world, not the horrible outside world, but the inside world.
I mean, have you ever seen Wreck-It Ralph?
Yes, I have. Wreck-It Ralph's awesome.
Yeah.
Again, very good plane movie, by the way.
Yeah,
But
I would
yes,
I would
Wreck-It
agree
Ralph
with
is
that one.
great.
Yeah.
I want to see the second one. Is the second one as good as the first one?
No.
It doesn't have as many references. To
It
cool
has a
video
ton
games
of
that we love.
references. It's just kind
What
of
is it?
it's
Does
kind of just
Zangief come back?
I think he is
My
in it
favorite character.
actually.
Oh, I'm watching it.
But
The beef.
it's just like it's different. It's like it honestly, it's funny. It taps a little more in on the side that people like thought video game.
Yeah, like fun.
And I would say like they, Wreck-It Ralph had like real game characters,
like that.
but like there's just definitely the idea, a whole idea of it changed from the first and second movie. I mean, the second one was kind of in like a development hell for a while. Like a big
Oh,
talk was like Mario was gonna like be
oh
actual
damn.
character in it or
They're
something.
like, no, he's too big for this.
I don't. It was probably more like money couldn't be agreed on and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. But at the end of the day, I think that the first one is really good. Still, I don't think the second one ruins the first one. But that going back, it's getting a little off my point though. That I
Mhm.
mean, it's been like it's weird to me that Disney, the one that like is getting they get praised for a lot of stuff for movies and stuff like that. I mean, Pixar almost always is like the animation award winner at like
Mhm.
the Emmys or whatever. I can't Golden Globes. Is that
Yeah,
what?
or the Oscars.
Yeah, and like it's just odd that they did a really good video game movie and that like I guess I don't know, the idea just didn't change with that, which is weird. So it's weird it took
Right.
so long, but I'm happy. That's my conclusion.
Yes. Yes. And then when we're talking about The Last of Us, obviously the thing is bringing video games into the mainstream for me. Like, people who didn't even know that this was based on a video game now
Yeah.
have the interest in going back and playing the games,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
They're like,
yeah.
"Oh, I loved this, this medium. I love this story. Wait,
Hmm.
you're telling me there's a video game around it?" Without
Yeah.
even knowing,
Yeah. That's
That's
I
what's
I remember
amazing
talking
about
to
it.
someone at work and they're like, "It's a video game?" I'm like,
Yes.
oh, that
You
blew
know
my
what?
mind. It's like, how did this hook you? Like, I was just hooked on the premise it was a show on a game. Like, I'm
Right.
curious what got people interested. I'm sure it's like the zombies.
Well, it's HBO and
Yeah.
it's the zombies and it's Pedro Pascal
Hmm.
and it's like all sorts of stuff like that. And the marketing, people will just watch any new show that comes out.
Yeah.
If it happens to be a hit, they'll watch it. What the most amazing phenomenon about this has happened to me recently in multiple ways, like multiple times, is that people who don't play video games are telling me about the story of this show in particular and the video games. Like, I don't know what happens in part two,
Me
right? I
neither.
never played it, and I'm purposely not playing it because I think, I've said it before, I think that game is garbage. I don't think it's a good game at all. I don't think it's fun to play.
Really? I didn't
I
know
think it's
this.
middling gameplay. Oh, I
Huh.
think I may have talked about this
I
on
maybe.
podcast, but definitely on stream. I think Naughty Dog doesn't make very good games. They tell very good stories. They make
Yeah,
very good
I've heard
AAA
this. Like,
budget
yeah.
like games, but their gameplay is I don't want to do that. I just don't want to
Yeah.
play the
It's
sneaking
that
around.
classic walking simulator with a 30-minute
Exactly.
cutscene type of thing.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
all. That's Naughty Dog games, especially Uncharted. Uncharted to me is garbage. Go back to make a Crash Bandicoot. Let's do Crash Bandicoot. That I'll play. I like Crash Bandicoot. I don't want to play the hide behind cover and blind fire my gun 300 times and then climb and then hear a story, or skulk around and make sure the zombies don't hear me and then sneak up behind somebody and choke them out and then go on and tell a story. I don't think their games are good games, but their story is great. So I've been purposely avoiding everything about the story because now I can just watch the shows, right? Now,
Mhm.
people who have never played the games, who aren't thinking about video games at all, are like, "Oh, you know what happens in season 2, right? How are they going to do this? How are they going to film this with this and that and the other thing?" I'm like, "You're spoiling a game for me. I can't even believe it." But just the fact that they're talking about a video game is
Yeah.
amazing to me. People who would never pick that up. So that phenomenon has happened to me now. People are spoiling video games through a show
Yeah.
for me. So I've been spoiled on season 2
Oh, really? I haven't.
already.
I have no clue what happened. So hopefully they got like chop chops, get working. Okay,
Get
that
it out
that
of
that
here. It's
strike
gonna
that
be hard
strikes
to
over.
avoid.
I know.
But what's amazing for me about this show in particular, which gives me real hope about the future of the show and possibly the future of the franchise, is the actual things. Not just they are winning a lot of awards, but obviously the big awards that they're winning were for the bite-sized story that they told that was actually outside of the video games, right? We talked
Mhm.
about it before, the Bill and Frank
Mhm.
episode,
Yep.
which is a tour de force of television. If you haven't seen uh The Last of Us, right? If you haven't seen that episode, I think it's episode 3 or something. It's called
Yeah.
Bill and Frank. You don't even have to watch the whole series. You don't even have to watch the whole season. Just watch that episode. It
Yeah.
is
I think that
so
episode
good.
is you pretty much. It's a pretty much self-contained story.
Exactly.
Like the only thing is maybe like not understanding like what
The
happened in the
world, right?
world, but
But they
other than
kind
that,
of they talk about it,
they
you know,
talk
they
about it a
go
little
into it.
bit. It's not like you would totally yeah, it's pretty impressive for a show to have an episode like.
Watch that episode. Even if you're not going to watch the whole series, watch that episode
No,
because,
just watch the whole
like Ty said,
series.
it's we'll do that, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. But like Ty said, it's contained. It's a contained story. So and that is the one that's winning the awards. But the thing about that story is not even really in the game, right? They
No.
talk. They make a little. There's like a
Well,
one
it's
page.
if anything, it's like more not like a total retcon, but yeah, there's like one
Yeah.
page alluding to this whole concept. But even then, that the whole story and its ending is different than in the game.
They basically took a couple of lines of, let's say, throwaway text for all
Yeah.
intents and purposes in the game, and they turned it into this amazing story that's winning all of these awards that I cried watching. That
Oh, yeah.
everybody that is the only episode of television I watched multiple times. It's amazing, but it gives me hope for season 2, for season 3, for season 4, because they can go off of the game material and still tell an amazing story as
Yeah.
proven in the track record. And we could see where this goes, and it could be a long lasting piece of media, right?
It's
So I'm hopeful for that for the next seasons.
it is interesting, that what you just said about that. It's like it's essentially throwaway dialogue. I mean, it's like it's such a small amount, and I don't think people talk about, because most people like raving about it as a show and stuff, or they don't play the game. That's totally fine.
Right.
I haven't played the game. They also don't
Mhm.
look into it as a game in general, and I think that it's super impressive what they made
yeah.
off of basically like a page of dialogue.
It's crazy, and that and people wonder why there's a writer's strike. Yeah, get those writers money. Because good lord. So I'm excited for the next couple of seasons, and I'm impressed, and I'm happy that it's winning all the awards, and
Yeah.
I'm happy that people are taking video games seriously now. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
huge. It's an industry bigger than the movie and television industry, if I'm
Mhm.
not mistaken. Like, it's about damn time. But I'm happy that it's winning the awards. I'm very excited for the next couple of seasons.
Me too.
And that phenomenon, I just had to note that, because I'm like, you're telling me about video games? Well, let me tell you something, okay? Have you ever played X, Y, and Z? Why don't you go play another story game?
Go play a Dark Souls.
yeah. Then get back to me, all right?
Yeah.
But that's exciting. I'm certain, and also it comes back to a prediction I made after watching that episode. I turned to my wife and I was like, "That episode is going to win all of the awards," and now it is. So I'm cashing that in. I know it wasn't much of a prediction because obviously anybody could see it.
Yeah.
But my second prediction, also with my wife, was after we watched the Barbie movie. I said that movie is going to win all of the Oscars, and I'm still sticking by it. I don't know if it has in the Golden Globes, but I'm still sticking by Barbie movie winning all of the Oscars.
That movie was
February.
fun. That movie was.
It was fun. It was great, and it told a really good story, like a meaningful story.
Yeah.
That like touched a lot of relationships and women's rights and in history, and I was just blown away that they could do this, and I laughed, I cried, it was everything. So I was like, that movie's gonna win all the awards. She does not agree, so we'll find out who's right there. Yeah, so anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about for The Last of Us. Very exciting. And of course, Pedro Pascal is, #1 movie star right now in history. And I hear, and
gonna be
also,
Fantastic Four.
Is he?
Yeah.
Was that they're
That's
taking out what's his name and they're putting on what's his name?
John Krasinski.
Yeah, they got rid of him. What happened?
Well, I'm not gonna not dive too far into that. I mean, that was a multiverse thing.
Yeah, you could spoil that movie. Okay, spoiler alert for
spoiler alert
for a movie that came out a couple of years
I
ago.
get, well,
it's fine.
Yeah, it's not. I don't even know how to describe it. Partially, it's just.
Well, let's just say John Krasinski was in that movie.
It's not like changing the actor, because like they try to do the variants where like it's a different actor for the most part.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that
they
was just
never
that
explained
was just
why.
a form of Reed Richards. Now this
Yes.
is like gonna be the
Yes.
this is gonna be the one
Another.
that takes place in the actual MC.
Yes. The
I'm
current one.
I mean I know a lot of people right now are kind of doom and gloom on it, but I've been kind of itching to get back into it. I kind of miss being hype for superhero stuff. You know,
Well,
like
because they hit you over the head with so much media
it's not even that.
about it.
It wasn't even that for me. It was just like it was kind of like it was reaching a point of pointlessness. You know, like after Infinity War, they seem to like think, oh, okay, we hit a reset button, but it's like, well, yes, you did. It doesn't mean you have to start out the same. Where well, like with Iron, you know, when it started out with technically the Hulk, but like when they got into Iron Man and stuff, they were they started building up to something. Well, now it
Yeah.
felt like they hit a whole reset button after Infinity War. We're like, oh, we hit a reset button, and so then they're doing this slow build up again. It's like it doesn't hit the same.
Right.
Like it's like you gotta have something established. Like like there's no way that you just had this dude just like destroy half the planet like twice essentially, and then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
slow build up something. Like you're telling me nothing happened off of that. Anyways, I this is like so off track, but
That's a lot of. I mean, there's a lot to unpack on the Marvel Cinematic
yeah,
Universe.
but
I did watch Blue Beetle, which is a
I want to
DC
see
character.
that. Yeah,
Great movie.
yeah.
Great plane movie because I saw it on a plane. It was excellent. Really fun. Just a fun time. Why can't we just have more fun movies like that? Because I feel like the problem is there's too many people who are too invested in Marvel
Well,
movies in
like
particular that if you have a fun movie that's just
yeah,
fun, you can't have that anymore. It has to, as to your point, it has to build up to a larger narrative. That's a serious tone.
yeah.
That's like
That's
everything.
That's the thing. They feel confused whether they want to like be building up to something or just be a contained story where something in it happens that builds up to something else. That's how
Yeah.
a lot of them were. Like I think Captain America Civil War was like this big event that happened that did build up to something else. But like it just seems like they can't consistently have something happens that will add to something. Like
Yeah.
their self-contained story, like a lot of like the early stuff is a self-contained story that something in it happens that will contribute to something else, and they just seem to like not be able to do that very.
Maybe we're getting into another dark era of superhero movies.
maybe
Let's see. Maybe we're in a little bit of a lull.
Deadpool
Um,
3.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I'm looking forward to. But
Uh,
Last of Us, again, back to it.
back to
Just
it.
love to see Last of Us taking home all the Emmys, all the Golden Globes.
Yes.
Video games. Video games are back, baby.
Video games are back. Should we?
They're there.
You know who else is back?
Who?
Felix the cat.
Whoa. Good
Whoa.
segue into that. Our second. Tell me about it.
So, okay, I want to preface this for like lay out a little bit of groundwork. So, Felix the cat, apparently, I've heard about this in the past. He has like a really good like Game Boy game. Actually, he has a couple.
I've played it.
People like actually really like these games,
I
which is
remember
really
playing
random.
The Nintendo. He had a regular.
I think there's
Nintendo
an NES
Entertainment
one.
System.
I don't know how like rare and expensive these games are. They haven't been licensed in a long time, so there's really no like legit way to play. So I don't know if they're like valuable or anything, but I've seen people talk about them a lot. And there's this company called Limited Run Games. I'm not gonna dive into all of their and my own interesting opinions on the company, but essentially, how they started out was like. How they really started out was, they'd get a license for a game that wouldn't like, when Nintendo makes a game, they're also typically the publisher of it or they're publisher of other games, and publishing means that they're the ones that like are getting it out onto the digital storefronts and typically also the physical ones. The physical one is a lot more expensive, obviously, to do than the digital one. So a lot of like indie games mainly don't get a physical print. Well, that's where they stepped in, but like they're like preserving media, and it's like it's not really they did like forced scarcity because they only would make so many. Now it's a little better where like there's a big window, you pre-order, and then they sometimes have extras down the line, or sometimes they just keep printing them So it's evolved, and it's evolved so far where they're actually company Limited Run Games is capable of having developers offer to other companies like, hey, license these games out to us, let us publish them, and that is what's happening here. They've proposed to Konami to bring back two of their retro icons, or not really their own for at least Felix the Cat, but there's also another one called Rocket Knight Adventures. I vaguely, I don't really,
Excellent game.
I remember seeing it on the Xbox Live Arcade. I had one of them, and I remember I had a lot of difficulty because I was a wee lad.
Oh yes, I remember it originally when it came out. I think it was for the Sega Genesis, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. Yeah, I remember playing it quite a bit. A lot of cool mechanics in that game. For a side-scroller action game, it leaned heavily on action than platforming.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I thought it was great. I thought it was a lot of fun. One of the few Sega Genesis games that wasn't like impossibly difficult. Few older generation games that's impossibly difficult to play and beat. You could play it, you could beat it, you could have fun with it and feel satisfied at the end. And cool character.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like
Little
what is he,
mouse.
little mouse inside
possum
a suit of
thing.
armor with a giant sword? It's cute, it's fun, it's great. Like,
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
I'm just happy to see like something that I probably never would have tried had it not came back. I'm really excited for the Felix the Cat one. Not like this
Oh yeah.
huge Felix the Cat fan or anything. It's just
Right. I don't have like a huge memory in my brain for what that game was. I remember playing it, and I remember it being very black and white because Felix the Cat is black and white.
I'm just interested in the idea that people really liked a Game Boy game. Like, honestly, in terms of like when people like reflect on handheld things, I don't think like people are like, yeah, I had a Game Boy when I was a kid or something, and like people don't really start talking about the games until you get to like the Game Boy Advance for a handheld system, mainly because like either Tetris, people talk about Tetris, Pokemon.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the people, but moms and dads love Tetris. This is one for the moms and dads.
And Russians.
And yeah, that is true.
They love it. Big pictures of the Kremlin out there. Go on. Go on.
But yeah, I'm excited to try it. I think it's pretty interesting to see like that's a big thing right now in games in general.
Yeah,
getting everything onto one plate.
Explain this to me, Ty. So is it just a limited run of the original games, or are they remastering it?
I think it's from what I'm aware of right now, it's just essentially like another collection. It'll probably have features. They recently did one with Jurassic Park. There's like a bunch of Jurassic Park games that is on the storefronts right now.
Really?
They got other ones, like they're gonna be doing Gex 1 through 3.
The original Jurassic Parks, where you could play as the Velociraptor.
I think so. It's like the Genesis and SNES
finally,
ones.
games that you can play as a Velociraptor are coming back.
I don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure it's like those original ones. I don't know how many are on it, but there's like a collection.
I'm gonna have to get that then. They somehow were able to take the story of Jurassic Park and bring in an all original Velociraptor character who had a backstory. The character had like a Velociraptor brother that you were trying to save. It's like, oh, what?
I actually now I forgot. I honestly thought you were just joking. I do remember one. It's a Velociraptor.
Take a Genesis. You could play as Dr. Grant. With guns and shit, which he never did in the movie. Or you could play as a Velociraptor. Like, come on, all the same levels, but instead of a human with a gun, you're a freaking Velociraptor. It was great.
Yeah, and they got that. There's other collections, but that's the thing. So like the physical versions of these are available for a certain time, and then like sometimes they'll have like extra ones you just buy, or like they'll go on sale on or something randomly. Other than that, they'll be on digital storefronts. Probably not forever. Probably not for a very long time because like licensing for this is expensive. But it'll be accessible for a decent period.
Oh man, I hope that they bring back more games like this. If they need any inspiration, I could think of a million deep cut games that I would love to see coming back.
They say they got another one to announce in February.
Whoa, very exciting, very teaser.
Yeah.
There's so many good classic games that I feel like I'm the only person who's ever played that could come back and like play it. Did you know that I was reflecting about these old NES games that I was playing like as a kid, my older cousins had an NES, and I would go to their like house. Right? Did you know they made a Platoon game? A game about Vietnam and the
I
atrocities of
did
Vietnam.
not.
They turned into a Nintendo game, and kids played everywhere. It's like there's all these deep cut games that exist
Yeah, that are just stuck
that
to
are just
there.
off the wall. Why would they take a game about the atrocities of Vietnam and turn it into a game, a movie about it? Like just bizarre shit that they did back then that you could come
Marketing.
back with.
Dude, the marketing.
Like, call me. Okay, I've got a lot of interesting ideas, is all I'm saying. Get my number, talk to my agent. We got things that we can talk about here that we can bring back.
My guess is, this is my last thing on this really. My guess is that the next assuming it's not something as kind of random as Felix the Cat, might be some Frogger games. Like,
Ooh,
there's a
interesting.
ton of Frogger games. Like, not just like arcade. There's like some like 3D.
Yeah, there was a resurgence of Frogger, like I
like the
feel like in the
PS2.
early 2000s or
like
mid
PS2.
2000s, I should say. But people kind of
don't
through
know.
that away.
I
like,
don't know if people liked it or not.
Exactly. I think that's
but
what they
but I
never really
I think it's a
got into it.
possibility. I don't know. But yeah,
Give Frogger an AK-47,
Yeah.
and we could talk here. Give me
Yeah.
some. I could give me the Frogger skin in Call of Duty, and we're back.
back.
I think we could do it. Again, big ideas here. Give me a call. Have my people talk to your people. We can make this happen. But that's interesting. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to hear it. I'd love more people to hear about Felix the Cat.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
It-
There are other cats out there other than Garfield. Okay,
Oh, there's not.
they're big names. They're big cats out there. There's not just one.
Is there?
There is.
Well, what
Felix
if
is one of them.
we should have Felix the Cat played by Chris Pratt?
There you go. Boom.
Then he can play both
Word.
Garfield and Felix.
And Bill Murray can come back as his older.
It could be like the Sonic Generations of Garfield.
You could have a whole Garfield cinematic
Garfield,
universe.
the GCU.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
Yeah.
It's about damn time. Why are people not calling us for ideas
know.
for this?
But
we can make this happen.
yeah, we can make it happen. The GCU. I think that's important to note that all the GCU recordings will be held over Discord, which whoa, Discord, have you been hearing what's been going on over at Discord and
what's
Twitch?
that? Tell me more.
Like a lot of staff layoffs to start off the year, which is
sad.
I will like preface anything like that. Yeah, that sucks.
It sucks.
But I think this was the story you pointed out. So if you want to take the helm of it, go ahead.
Yeah.
But I did have one quick thing to say, and it's gonna sound pretty bad. I don't think it's as doom and gloom as some people online are making it out to be.
Right.
I think it definitely won't be the last of it. Really, I mean, Microsoft did it like a while back, where like all these companies just overhired during the pandemic, and they're like, realizing
it's been happening constantly. No, I think bottom line is Twitch is dead, Discord's dead. Go find something new. That's it. It's over. We had a good run here. In fact, I'm closing this Discord screen out. I'm uninstalling right now. Like,
back to
it's
2
over.
tin cans and a string.
Yes, it's about good. We're going back to the Stone Age. No, the headline being Twitch is laying off. I think it says 35% of its staff, and Discord was how many?
Like
17 or something.
17%.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely laid it out. Like, these are real people we're talking about, so it is sad. I hope that all of them find new jobs in different spaces. I think I'm certain a lot of these people have transferable skills over to other platforms.
Definitely. It's not like places aren't hiring.
Exactly. And they're starting to revamp hiring. A lot of these tech companies, and you said it perfectly, Ty, a lot of the tech companies overexpanded during the pandemic, were on hiring frenzies, and then went through layoffs. Now it's just Twitch and Discord, but it's been happening at Facebook. It's been happening at Amazon had layoffs. Microsoft,
well, I think
huge tech companies did.
I think Twitch just flat out said that that's exactly what it was, like that they just overstaffed for where they thought they would be. And then people are like, well, they're not where they thought they would be. Not being where you thought you doesn't a bad thing. That's the whole reason why they cut the staff to where they are. Like, I mean, it's not necessarily bad. It's just underpredicted. And I think just places overthought. Like, they probably all saw huge growth during people being in quarantine and stuff, and it's like, even though I think it should have been obvious, most companies like money.
Yeah, no, and we talked about it on the last episode. I think there was a huge expansion during the pandemic of companies with a lot. They were flush with cash, right? Interest rates were extremely low, so money was cheap, and people were still working. They were not unemployed, so they were expanding and hiring. They saw a lot of growth, the way that you're saying, and now we're off of that sugar high. Now, we've come down from that, and interest rates have climbed tremendously over the last couple of years. The cost of doing business is higher. The cost of getting free liquidity is lower. I mean, it's much higher now. So unfortunately, a lot of people need to, cut down on staff. But there are indications that we are coming back, especially in the tech industry. I know personally, I have connections with the tech industry that went through a lot of layoffs in the last couple of years that are now rehiring again. Hiring is cycling back up. But specifically for Twitch and Discord, I mean, I know it's hard to say. Well, it's not hard to say that this is the end of Twitch, right? And as the two of us are both on the platform and we do it pretty frequently, it's not the end of Twitch, obviously. But when you think about the Twitch competition here, what are you getting from streaming or using the Twitch platform that you can't get from its competitors? How does it differentiate itself from YouTube, from Facebook Gaming, from Kick?
I think
all of these platforms, and I don't understand, and that's a person coming from somebody who's on Twitch constantly.
It's just like, I mean, Twitch was kind of the first, so you have the advantage of, and I think if you stay away from Kick, you have the benefit of not being associated with Kick.
Yeah, so Kick has some bad headlines here. They show feet on Kick, so
And it's not like Twitch has been the saving grace either. I don't want to talk about it mainly for the YouTube one, but I think let's just say some big old censor bars over there.
Yes.
Don't want this to be taken down on the YouTube side, but
or more in line with that though, TikTok. Right.
Yeah.
What is Twitch offering that TikTok doesn't?
Like they're definitely falling behind on like not having shorts. Like anytime they like try to do something, like for a while, Twitch was about to like introduce like a YouTube side to it, and they just kind of never followed through. And I think interesting enough with like why TikTok Live, I don't think it's ever gonna replace Twitch, because it's just a totally different type of streaming on there. I see people have big streams on there. I don't really understand it all. I don't think like the money, I'm just gonna be real for a second. As a creator, I don't really see the monetary gain from TikTok Live. I don't really get how. I don't see it incentivized as much to subscribe on TikTok compared to Twitch.
Well, break that down for me. So I don't know that much about TikTok, but I know the incentivization of Twitch, and I don't see it as very high at all. Like, what do you really get for as a viewer, as a subscriber to many Twitch channels?
I mean,
what do I really get from that subscription?
Not a whole lot. I mean, ad free, obviously, but TikTok Lives, like, there's not ads that roll during those, and it's just more so like, I'm not even saying incentive as a person to do it, but more so it's like, Twitch always has that sub button. People encourage it more. There's like the bits, and like there's a description where you can like donate to a PayPal on Twitch a lot of times, and like TikTok just doesn't really have that like readily obvious. There's cheers on TikTok where there's these little stickers people can send, and that's a little rose. Those are a little more popular, I feel, compared to Twitch's bits. But
thanks for the rose.
Yeah,
rose smells so good.
But also
a milkshake, yum.
Like it just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't have like the same attitude about it. I'm not saying it in terms of what a viewer gets out of it.
Well, I mean, my whole point is, like, I don't understand what Twitch is offering.
It's just the I mean, it's like, why, like you could argue Twitter
that's
going
not
down.
a good sign.
Is it? I
It's
mean,
just
is it not? I mean, it's just that no one else
no,
can.
just because it has the recognition and it
I
is the
mean,
platform, the first platform that you think of, a lot of that, once that starts to deteriorate, once that starts to denigrate in people's minds, and they think they're not just thinking Twitch, now they're thinking of YouTube, which offers a better video viewing experience,
it
like
does. Well,
then you have issues.
I mean, does it? Like that's the thing to
If
me.
if
It's
if Twitch if Twitch stops innovating,
yeah.
then they're gonna have problems. And it
I,
doesn't look like they're innovating. They're not coming out with anything new. They're just trying to chase other platforms. And by that I mean
I
they just brought
just
a new factor to now take your clips and turn them into TikTok videos. All they're doing is they're chasing TikTok views at this point.
I don't really think it's like. I mean, it's like I agree that's how it should be. You need money to compete, and you
Mhm.
need time to compete. Like, although I think Kick has a very interesting alternative,
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
sorry,
not
having
kick.
people like those being the people that are helming the platform are horrible looks for your
Yes,
platform.
yes. And
It
well
has
Kick is
nothing to do
doing
with.
the
I
well
don't think
Kick
it's
in itself is doing the thing that I'm talking about is they're trying to chase Twitch.
yeah.
And that's why they're not going to be successful. And now Twitch, in my opinion, is trying to chase TikTok. And also, it's running neck and neck with another platform, YouTube Lives and
I
YouTube Shorts and YouTube
I
This,
don't
which
think
is a better experience.
yeah, it's a better experience, but the thing is, like, it's a classic Google moment of they gave up because it wasn't
Hmm.
immediately successful.
Hmm.
You know, there's YouTube Gaming, which I think was a horrible idea, honestly.
Hmm.
So they just don't invest in the streaming side of it. There's like, there's a way bigger delay on YouTube than Twitch.
Yeah.
Um, and yes, although the video quality is better and the watching, I think, is better experience, it just lacks. I mean, it lacks like a good clipping feature. I don't even know if it has a proper one still.
Hmm.
Like if people say Twitch lacks discoverability for streams,
So that's, I think, my
YouTube
major.
YouTube has like negative discoverability for streams. For
Damn.
streams. For streams.
Yeah.
Videos, it's a little different. But for streams, like it's there is a button. There's like one button that has a streaming page, but like I just don't see it as that. Like that's they
Hmm.
don't try to make you think of YouTube video and YouTube videos and shorts. Like and I think that's a proper way. Like the only company I've seen properly chase like the TikTok short side of thing is you.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I'm that's kind of interesting to me, like the YouTube Shorts. I'm curious if those ever take off. Look,
Yes.
TikTok to me, for the platforms as social media goes, TikTok is preeminent right now. I think it's the leader. It's the most entertaining to me personally.
Yeah.
And it comes down to the algorithm, right? That's the
Hmm.
one thing that TikTok has that Twitch does not have, that
Oh yeah.
YouTube doesn't have. The algorithm is ingenious. I don't know how they do it. It amazes me every time. But as a creator, that's exactly what you want. I'm surprised that more creators are not flocking to TikTok, even live creators, because
It's
your discoverability is so much better on
yeah.
TikTok.
Well, the thing is, like, it's a lot better on there, but it's really hard to like retain.
Hmm.
Like, if I on a creator's aspect, YouTube has not the worst discoverability in terms of like actually like my video. Some of my videos have done really well. My shorts, some of them have done extremely well.
Hmm.
And getting people to come back. I look at some of the ratio, and mine's not like terrible, or anything like that in terms of like new versus return, like an actually already subscribed person.
Hmm.
Um, I think like YouTube, it's not that hard to like at least kind of get the grasp of like what'll get pushed to people. It's just a little more like thought. You gotta properly title a properly thumbnail,
Hmm.
and that'll get pushed out to people via those things. But on TikTok, it just seems to work. It just
It
seems
just
to
works.
know. It just
See,
seems to
that's
like
exactly what I'm saying.
I don't have to put any tags on the videos. I could title the video probably like nothing. I could just throw the word gaming in it, and boom, like it
Gaming.
can get a
It
couple people.
knows. It's the algorithm.
Yeah.
It knows. It's the future. It's AI. Like, why am
Yeah.
I still putting in tags on a YouTube video when I don't even need to do that for a resume anymore? I can just go on
Mhm.
ChatGPT and it does it for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
And
and that's why
I
YouTube had a huge spike in long form content recently.
oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Like
Tell me
it's
more.
just
Like a
so like
2-hour podcast would be very
well, like
successful
a
on there.
2 hour analysis, you know, like there's like this
Long
there's
play or
long
something.
form videos have had this huge resurgence, probably because people are like more like going like 6 years ago, no one could imagine making a video more than even 20 minutes long. 20-minute long
Right.
video probably barely even existed then.
Yeah.
Like it was typically like 8 to 10 minutes was like the max, the standard. Now then it like went up to like 15, and like now there's like just like 30-minute videos that people put
Right.
out talking about stuff, and it's like I think it's interesting with the rise of like short form content, you know,
Oh
that
yeah.
like the long form stuff has gotten longer, and
Hmm.
I don't
Not what
know.
you would expect, basically.
No, and you'd think people would want like more short stuff, like more like 5-minute video.
Oh, okay, so all of my 4+ hour live streams that I've been uploading to YouTube are finally gonna take off.
Yes,
Yes,
100%.
time. It's about damn time. Um, yeah, no, that's interesting. I did not know that, and I could see maybe that's why. Well, because you can't get that in the other platforms,
No,
right? You can't get that
I think
on TikTok.
TikTok's is like
You
10
definitely can't.
minutes.
Right, and I am not watching a
I am
10-minute
not
TikTok
watching a
video. I
10-minute
ain't doing that shit. If I
TikTok.
see that little bar is, like, creeping forward and I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be, like, a 3-minute
Yeah,
video,"
if I
I'm
see
out.
that
I'm
little
swiping.
bar creeping
That's it.
forward
You're
and
done.
there's no Subway Surfers at the bottom, I'm
And it's
out.
a part 1,
And it's a
you
part.
forget about it. Every time I see that part 1, I'm like, "Outta here. Get outta here." I
TikTok
ain't
TikTok needs to start me at part 193 of a random Grey's Anatomy episode with some little random mobile game at the bottom, and I'm in
Yes.
there. I'm in
That's what it
there.
is. You're absolutely right. The Subway Surfer at the bottom, like, no. Even when I see that, I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm like, there's like certain. Now it's all about selling stuff on TikTok, right?
Yeah,
The TikTok shop. That's a
I
big issue, I
that's a
think.
yeah, that's a really random thing that I am not very impressed with. Like I've watched, I'm not gonna like say because I don't even really want to promote it, but there's this really funny creator, and they're like, guys, I'm gonna take a break for a bit, and it's like, oh, respectful, I get that. Then they like hop on their like they're
Oh
like,
god,
I want to
on a
work on.
TikTok shop.
They're like, yeah, I want to work on stuff for a bit, and I think the TikTok shop, I want to express this. I've seen like little businesses grow from it because like they're able to
Sure.
sell that. Like, his TikTok is like really trying to like get people to do this, which I just think it's a weird market to branch into first. But I mean, sure, I get the idea of why you'd want that to be. But yeah, so they're like funding creators to put out these extreme coupons, and they'll cover all this like shipping and bonus money for them. And it's cool to see them grow. But like, yeah, this creator I watched, really funny. And then like he's like, I want to work on other projects. I'm like, oh, okay, I get that. Yeah, take that break. And then like, I see another account of his pop up, and it's like, here's all this random shit that no one really needs. Buy them off of my affiliate link on
And
TikTok
it's the
Shop.
bet, and I recommend it
Yeah,
myself
isn't it
personally.
weird how like every single product you totally recommend? I think that's
Wow.
strange how every single product is good. Weird. That's so
Yeah.
weird.
Well, I think, I mean, so this is something new, I guess, that has hit TikTok, this popularity of the TikTok shop. But I would imagine I have trust in our AI overlords. I have trust in the robots, and I think the algorithm will start to figure out that people think that that is bullshit,
Yeah.
and they're constantly swiping past it like I am, and eventually that will get changed. I have confidence in that.
Yeah,
I think that's what's gonna happen. It'll
I
be
mean those
in a couple
coupons,
months that'll be gone.
like the big reason why like some of them go really viral is because they offer like a 50% off coupon on like a legit like portable screen that's pretty good. Like
Right.
I've seen it, and people are like, yeah, it's actually legit and good, but it's like TikTok can't offer like 60% off a $300 portable screen
Yeah.
forever and cover
True.
like the cost. Like that's the thing, they're offering 60% off, and like it's not like they're even like initially like they're paying someone who bought it at probably like a wholesale type of price, what that is, and then they're paying that person like cover everything basically.
Right. Well, look, I can't see a future where I purchase anything off the TikTok shop.
I have not.
I can't.
I've been offered
And
like 80% off coupons, and it's like I don't need anything.
right. And I think like I said, the algorithm is going to realize that on a large scale, and it'll stop promoting a lot of TikTok shops, and then the TikTok shop will go down, and then it'll be on to whatever the next challenge is, the fucking 30-second, I don't know, dance like a crazy maniac challenge.
I get that in
And that'll be on.
Fortnite.
Yeah, this will be the crazy dancing Fortnite challenge.
I just think it's a idea that they are going way too. I think it's great for like little like I think it would be good for like card shops to do it. You know, I think it'd be great for like if someone wants to like resell games on it.
Yeah.
But like why I don't need to like I've seen like energy drinks, like why would I need to buy an energy drink off of TikTok?
Drop shipped garbage.
Yeah, a lot of that too. That's like
there.
like you know, like I see like a lot of the live streams I see is like card breaks, which are people you buy the cards, they rip them, and they ship them.
Yeah.
And I think that is a genius way to use it. I've seen like have you heard of like Newegg?
Have I heard of
Newegg?
Newegg?
Yeah,
Newegg's been around for like 30 years.
I don't know. They've had really good deals on there too. like I seriously like it was like Xbox controllers for like $20.
Yeah. Newegg has always been on the cutting edge of great prices for tech peripherals and tech items, PC parts.
But like that,
Newegg has been around for a long time.
You know, I actually got one for Christmas and I'm addicted, but like that little toy where like you push the back and those little bubbles pop up and like they light up.
Wait, which one is that?
There's this thing that's been everywhere on TikTok, and it's like that dropship item you mentioned. It's this little like handheld. It's like probably the size of an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's electronic, has noise, but not a screen. You know those like Pop It toys? Like the little fidget, the bubble pops.
Yeah.
And so it's got one of those in the middle, and like on the back, there's this thing you push up, and it pushes all the little bubbles up, and the little bubbles light up. No, it's really addicting though. Like you gotta like press only the lit up ones, and then push the back, and you gotta do it really fast. Dude, it's kind of addicting, but that's one of those it's one of those
a
things.
Fidget spinner or something. You know, it's addicting in that way.
Right, but it's one of those things where are like everywhere on TikTok. It's like, wow, how is everyone selling these? You know,
well, now that you've spoken it to my ears and I have spoken it out loud, I'm certain if I go on TikTok right now, it could be the first thing that pops on my screen. Dude. And that's what makes TikTok amazing.
It's a little scary, but yeah, dude, like just random stuff like will be mentioned, and then it's like, oh,
it's there. It happens to me on a daily basis. I will be talking to my wife about something, and then all of a sudden it'll be on the next TikTok video, and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
but it's cool to the point where I'm not
scary.
surprised anymore.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think the coolness, you know, I put that in little quotes because it's also kind of frightening to me.
Well, so I mean, perfect example of this, Ty. Ty and I were talking about this story 2 days ago. Was it 2 days ago? And I was like, okay, I put the headline into our headlines channel, and it was Twitch laying off 35% of the work.
Oh, yes, and then you got a TikTok of
and then literally I go to the bathroom, that's where I'm watching most of my TikTok on the can, and I open it up, and one of the first videos is the CEO of Twitch saying why they're laying off 35% of their workforce. It happened immediately. And then what's ironic is I didn't see it on Twitch. I saw it on TikTok. But, and there it was a clip of him talking about it. And I posted it right in our headlines channel. And I was like, look what just happened. You know, TikTok knows. That's the power that Twitch doesn't have. The algorithm, the discoverability.
Twitch isn't listening to you all the time. And that's a problem. But
Twitch doesn't know my blood type and all of my information. And why not? Frankly, no. I
know my social.
Oh God! Don't say it out loud. Don't look at it. Don't think about it. What? Cancel. Bleep this out. And your mother's maiden name is not. But anyway, I think for as somebody who uses Twitch all the time, I just don't understand how it continues on this path without innovating.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I want to reiterate, or not. I guess like I agree in the sense I don't get how. It's the same thing with Twitter right now. I don't get how someone hasn't dropped a better competitor. I don't get how someone hasn't dropped, like, literally YouTube could beat Twitch if they just cared. They cared for like a second, but they don't, and I don't really get why. Is Amazon paying them not to care? Like YouTube could sweep Twitch easily.
You need to ask yourself, Ty, is Twitch a big moneymaker in general, and is it a big moneymaker for Amazon?
Well, yes. I think that's the thing. Twitch, I think this is one of the things they talked about. Twitch doesn't make money.
Exactly.
But
so why would Google do that?
Why would Google want to compete?
Yeah, why would they want to even play in this space?
Well, I mean,
if it doesn't make Amazon money.
But it doesn't. Amazon doesn't bleed money. The thing. They probably see it. Here's how, like, exactly in my idea this works. You know, like, there's this big push for, like, use your like, it's a bonus in Amazon Prime. You know, you get a free Prime sub, which, by the way, anyone else remember when Prime meant no ads on the platform? I remember. I remember
Pepperidge Farm.
Yeah. But no, in all seriousness, like, it, you know, promotes using your Prime. It's another benefit to the Prime account. You know, there's like Prime game rewards on there that are exclusive only to there. I think, I mean, it's just like, it's almost like a benefit, you know. It's another thing with, like, those Amazon Prime shows, like that Lord of the Rings show. I haven't watched it or anything.
Great show.
It's just, to me though, like, I look at that, it's like HBO level quality. I'm like,
yes, it is. Wheel of Time. Watch it now on Amazon Prime. I love it.
Like, how are these shows making their money back? And they probably are not.
I mean,
think they are. In a way, like, I don't think people are subbing to Prime to get that. It's just an incentive. It's an incentive to Prime, though.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, I'm sure there's just enough Prime subs that, like, taking Twitch out of it. Twitch, like, is such an. I mean, it's surprising to me that Amazon's not all over on Twitch. I do notice a lot of Prime ads on the sides of Twitch sometimes, or like Amazon recommended products, and I'm sure it works. I don't fall for that type of stuff. I'm not like a person that gets targeted, like, successfully with ads that I've noticed. Like, I mean, like, when I see a game trailer, I'm like, oh, that's cool. That doesn't make me. I typically have my mind made up on things I want to buy, or hear it in a different way.
Right. I buy all the games based on the cover art. So.
Right. So it's not like Twitch is this big money maker necessarily for Amazon, because server space is expensive, and maybe that's why Google doesn't also want to compete. But with it, maybe it'll just make them lose money in the end. But
you think they're making the money on the back end for all the other stuff?
Yeah,
they get through Twitch, and
it's just like a bonus. And
yeah,
taking that out of the equation, I don't really know if it would hurt their bot. I don't think people are sub to Prime just to get Twitch, but, like,
I don't think so.
I mean, it gets advertisers to offset probably the server costs, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're answering your own question here, and I'm taking the opposite end, where I completely hear what you're saying, and you're saying they're getting more from the periphery of what Twitch brings them, right? The advertisements, the platform, they get their hand in another honeypot, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is not sustainable. It's just not sustainable on a business model. And I feel like eventually there's going to be that one domino that's going to fall, where they're like, we can't do this anymore. We can't possibly do this. And Twitch is going to have to spin off.
Maybe.
And then it's going to be the death knell of Twitch.
Maybe. I don't know, man.
Yeah, but I mean, look, like I said, as somebody who loves Twitch, who's on it constantly, I love the creators on there. That's where you and I met. Personally, I'm streaming as much as possible. I love to connect with people on that level. I just don't see it as a sustainable business model, and I don't see it as one of the best platforms, even for that. Even for me to do that, I don't think it's the best platform. And if I didn't make so many great friends on Twitch, I probably wouldn't be on it.
I think it's a horrible, like, solo platform. that's all you're doing in your goal. If you're just doing it for fun and stuff, I like more power to whoever wants to do it. I definitely can see the experience on that. It's just more so like in terms of growth, it doesn't have that. In terms of like, and I will say like Twitch every other week feels like there's a story where it's like, is this the end of it? I don't think anything has ever been close to the end for Twitch yet. But I totally agree. Like it's not a good business model, but until someone invests the time and energy to make like a legit competitor, it's
the only game out there.
Exactly, and that's what keeps it around. Like I 100% agree, it's not good. I think it's so bad, but just no one else cares.
It's just the only game in town, and until it's not the only game in town.
Yeah, and whenever something else good pops up that seems promising, it's hard to get everyone to migrate. That's the big one too. So it requires another big company to want to do something, and then
which, to your point, is the same thing that's going on with Twitter, right? There's no big Twitter competitor out there, which is why Twitter still exists, even though for all intents and purposes,
Threads,
everybody hates Twitter.
Remember Threads for like 2.5 nanoseconds?
That's the same thing,
because
Meta didn't put money
they
into Threads.
They literally rushed it to capitalize off of like the doom and.
Now, I will say that it launched around the same time that Meta was going through their layoffs, right?
Yeah.
They laid off so many staff. They were going they were cost cutting everywhere. So like maybe it was bad timing for them, but you're absolutely right.
They rushed it. They rushed it, and then I don't know. I swear, is it shut down? I don't actually know.
I have no idea, but I know nobody uses it. I remember when it hit the street, I was like, in my other job, I was like, oh, I see you're talking a lot about, Twitter here. Have you thought about your Threads your Threads promotion? And people like looked at me like I was crazy, and then I should have looked at myself like I was crazy because they didn't fucking do anything with it. Like, drop the ball.
Yeah.
But to your point, Twitter, to our overall point, Twitter is the only game in town right now for that kind of platform.
And it's not. I don't think it's sustainable, but it's not sustainable. I think it's sustainable right now until someone else tries.
Right.
And then right now, no one else. I think Kick had a genuine chance. They have lost all my interest with like who they promote as leaders of their platform. And I literally can't even talk about some of it because I would probably get the video flagged. It's just the truth. Like, no, it's whether people want to agree with what those people on there say or not. The truth is that it's a bad look, no matter whatever you think about them. It's just a bad look to the general public, and no one will take it seriously.
Right, and most importantly, which is the problem that Twitter is having, is advertisers won't take it seriously when there's bad headlines, when you're associated with a platform with things that you wouldn't want your brand associated with.
Yeah,
that's going to be the downfall of Twitter, and that's going to be the downfall of Kick, right? Because you need the money coming in. That's why Twitch makes all of these rules or guidelines or decisions that maybe some people don't agree with, and they say, "Oh, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that?" Because it all comes down to the money. The almighty dollar, right? It's got to please advertisers first and foremost, because that's where they get their money. But speaking of where they get their money, maybe you could explain this to me. We could spend like maybe 5 minutes on it, because we talk a little bit about Discord. How does Discord make money? Can somebody tell me that? I don't know. I don't get it. How's Discord in business?
It's also, so my guess right now is off of like the Nitro subscription. I'm on Discord a lot, but I was subbed to Nitro. Are you spending money? I was subbed to Nitro for a bit. I've recently canceled it just because I don't know if I really want to keep it or not. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun little tool. If you're like, it's not really, it's only if you're really, really using it a ton. I think it's worth it.
The only time I ever thought about needing Nitro is when I tried to share a video that was too large. That's it.
But that's the thing. Like I screen share a lot of my games to friends. Like that bumps the quality. But honestly, sometimes I'm just like, I think about it and like I boost my server, but at the moment I don't they keep doing that.
But is that
And
the only thing generating
it
revenue for Discord? I don't
so
what
it's so
what
people
is it?
there's other companies invested in it, you know.
Uh-huh.
I
Sure.
I mean, some people say that I have no clue. I'm genuinely not sure if they
Yeah,
do. No,
I
no, no,
wish
no,
I could
no.
say. No,
I'm
I don't
no,
know.
no about what I'm about to say. Like
Oh,
it's
oh,
investors. That's how they make their money. But I don't
yeah.
think they like some people say they harvest data. I don't really know what data they harvest. I don't think they
Oh.
do. I don't think they really do as much as some people like to fearmonger online, but I don't know. And honestly,
Oh my goodness.
as
The
well,
dark Discord
I mean,
past.
it's not even no. Like, I mean, all the anyone people are like, I am very self-conscious about my data. Like, anytime like I see that online, like people are like, I protect my data. It's like you're saying this on Twitter. Like, you gave them your name,
You
your phone
definitely
number.
are
You are
not.
not that
Yes.
like
No.
I'm
Unless you're in the woods with a tinfoil hat on, disconnected from the internet, you're
yeah.
not safeguarding your data.
No.
That's it.
But
Um,
that's the whole thing. Like I don't really it's really at the moment from my understanding like Sony and Microsoft I think are both invested in Discord.
yeah, because they're on their platforms, but
Mhm.
like eventually, and I'm not sure. I sometimes I like to think I know a thing or two about business, but eventually you need to give revenue and money back to investors at some point, and I just
Yeah.
don't know where the money is.
Hey,
Like, who, where, how,
those
what? I'm just
subscriptions
ignorant. There's got to be something there. I'm just ignorant on the fact there's got to be something coming in
I
that's
think
covering the,
well
or it
then
could be
like
maybe the cost of operations are just so low. Could
yeah,
that be it? Like
it's
maybe it doesn't cost
possible.
anything to run Discord.
It's I mean it's possible. I just I think it's like a good look when companies are affiliated with it right now. Having like a server for like this sort of
Oh
community.
yeah. Well, let me.
It
Well, I'll
it's
tell you. Yeah. The server. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Keep going. Yeah.
it's
Tell me
just
more.
like an extension for companies. Like it's at the moment they see value in using the platform, so they'll fund
Community outreach.
it's like right now, like on Twitter, that you can pay like a bajillion dollars for your company to have the gold verified
The
thing.
gold, right?
And it's
Yeah.
like the companies that have it view it as something valuable to have, even though they're not
Uh-huh.
really gaining anything directly from Twitter for that.
Mhm.
Like I think it's just something. I think it's just the looks type of thing. That's the best way I can summarize it. Where
Yeah.
it's better to have it than not have it, so they help it out.
Interesting.
People
I
hop
I have
on a
noticed
call to
that.
play a game.
I have noticed a lot more companies with their own Discord servers, right?
Hmm.
Like at least like web tech companies who are like,
Hmm.
"Oh, here's a product. More questions? Join our Discord server." I have seen that
Hmm.
more, and it is a great way to get to the community. I just don't know where the money's coming in from, and maybe to your point, I mean, maybe to our point here is that the cost of running Discord is just so low potentially. But I will say, fine, the platform itself is very good. Like
Yeah.
this is the best audio platform out there. And finally, I've convinced my friends, the boys playing Warzone, to get off of that stupid in-game chat and get on the Discord. And I've only been able to do that because finally Sony and Microsoft have brought Discord to their platforms.
Yeah.
Finally, you could get Discord on your Xbox and Discord on your PlayStation. And it took still took a little bit of arm twisting, but finally, when I got the boys onto Discord, it's like night and day, like
Oh yeah.
communication. So Discord is still great. It's still a great platform. They're laying off staff. I don't know where they're making money. I just don't know how they're making money.
I like it. It's one of those things where I think companies are just investing into it, hoping it eventually makes money. I mean, like I mean,
There's got to be some metrics on it somewhere that we just don't know about. It's got to be it. This is something we don't see on the surface, I would imagine. So I just
yeah.
don't get it.
I'm
Um,
sure.
but layoffs are happening. They've been happening the last couple of years. Now it's hitting Twitch. Now it's hitting Discord. The money is drying up a little bit, but it'll be back. Like I said, there's rehiring in tech happening every day. But I thought these were pretty notable headlines. Not too
I
much
mean,
gaming news.
it says in 2022, Discord's revenue is 445 million.
And how much is their operating costs?
I don't know, but
I don't know if that's a lot or a little.
it's so
operating cost must be low, so maybe
Yeah.
that's positive. But then if it was so, if they were making so much revenue, like revenue, then they wouldn't
I
be
mean,
laying off 17% of their
like,
staff.
you gotta. I think from like I don't really know this side of like the whole like social aspect, but there is a lot of people that use Discord essentially like it's their social media platform.
Oh yeah.
Like there's servers where people just talk and like they buy Nitro to like use animated emojis, deck out their profile. Like people are
Oh
like
yeah.
a lot of people that say like I don't see Nitro users at all, and I don't really a ton either, but I'm not connected to like that
You're not as
side of
ingrained
gaming.
in the
Like
Discord
I
community.
kind of like I'm just not like in like if people popped into like a server that like is focused on like a specific game, there's
Hmm.
tons of Nitro users. The server
Yeah.
level is maxed out with like
Whoa.
going over. It's like I mean like I think like the Diablo 4 server is like one of the servers I mean. That one's like it's
Right.
maxed out, tons of Nitro users. It's like
Damn.
it's not hard to see.
Pimp my Discord server.
Yeah, it's not hard to see like theoretically like if it's $10 a month or like 100 for a year, it's affordable. $100
Sure.
all
Yeah.
at
No, I
once
can
is a
see that.
lot,
$10
but
a month is not too bad.
yeah, and it's like if you're getting that from like a bunch of people, like you're getting all that money. It's not like someone
True.
else is taking a
Yeah.
fee.
Discord's taking all of it.
Discord's its own launcher, so they're getting like sure that like PayPal fee stuff.
I mean, and if you remember, I guess a year or two ago, they were approached at being purchased by Sony, I think, or
Microsoft
Microsoft.
almost bought them. Sony
Yeah,
has like a stake in them now,
right.
basically.
And I guess they thought it was within their best interest to continue to not sell because they
But
must be making money somehow.
just think about it, like you pulled your friends off of like using the Microsoft or
Yes.
PlayStation
Oh
at
God, it
party
was so
chats.
bad.
You pulled them. You were hopping on a game with them on like let's say all your friends I don't know play on PlayStation. Let's just say like let's
Hmm.
say you all did that, right? Or let's just say even one of you. Sony probably sees that as like this person's playing this Call of Duty game,
Hmm.
only because they're playing with friends, and maybe with friends they'll buy a battle pass, they'll buy those COD points. We'll get
Right.
like they spend $10 on COD points, they get a battle pass. We just got $3. But imagine
Hmm.
that multiplied by like 500 other people, like then they
True.
just made
It's funny. And then also I think
$1,500.
and it's the opportunity cost that they're losing of if I'm playing Call of Duty on a platform or any game on a platform that has bad communication, I know communication is crucial to it and it's inhibiting my enjoyment of the game,
Hmm.
I might be enticed to change platforms because it's better somewhere else.
Hmm.
So I think integration was tremendous on that, but that's the opportunity cost that they're chasing.
Right.
They don't want to lose people on their platform because of
Right.
this one thing that might be important to them and to a lot of other people out there.
Yeah, and it's it's such a like that's a big thing in like games and tech in general is just that's part of what we were just talking about with Twitch is like they view it as a opportunity to get people to stay on Prime
On
essentially.
Amazon,
Yeah.
on Prime.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And
Well, we'll see. I
yeah,
mean,
we'll see. Who knows how it plays out.
yeah, I mean, we'll see with Twitch, with Discord. It's sad about these layoffs, and it's sad for the
Mhm.
people and their families. And I hope they find, new positions soon. But dang, just notable news. I think in the tech industry, I didn't see. I don't know if we're in this sort of, January after the Game Awards, but did you see any gaming headlines that you want to bring out
There's not
before we talk about,
I don't think there's a
upcoming
ton.
games?
There's not really a ton cuz like January typically isn't a heavy advertising period in general.
Makes sense.
Not a whole lot, really. I mean, is there anything you had in mind? Otherwise, like, it's a perfect segue.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I think probably the news is a little bit light nowadays. As we get to the new year, I think the big thing that we're all thinking about is games. The games. Give me some new games. What do we got coming up here in the next couple of months? Or why don't you hit us with after 2023, after the game awards, we had huge advertisements and trailers and announcements. What are you most excited to see as far as a game coming out in 2024.
Yeah, I think that's a much simpler, dude. For terms of like stuff coming out, it's about to get crazy. You know, with Suicide Squad, Tekken 8, Yakuza. You know, that's just this month, January, and that's like in the span of like 2 days, all between each other. 3 big games.
Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that, Ty. I had to go to the bathroom so bad. I've been drinking this giant jug of water, and I didn't expect to, I was like painfully squirming here in my seat. And I know I want to talk. I know we have a lot of games to talk about. I was like, could I sit through this now? Can I hold it in? What can I do? I can feel like kidney stones forming as I'm sitting here. So I was like, oh God, I gotta go. But thanks for that. Thanks for that break.
Yeah, thank you, because I needed to...
God. Woo! And that was good for a break out there, good for an ad break, as we're sponsored by Shadow Raid Legends.
Shadow Raid Legends, not to be confused with any other sort of products out there.
Yeah, be sure to download and fight those shadows in the giant raid. It's so much fun. But no, in all seriousness, no.
But that could be the best game of 2024 if it doesn't
really
beat any of the other stuff coming up.
Yes, that's a very good point. You never know. So yeah, but let's get into the games. I mean, that's what we're all here for, right? What's happening? What are the new games? What are you excited for? What are you seeing on the horizon? Tell me more, Ty.
All right, I thought of like 2 maybe specifically like a quick little my quick little thoughts on there's so much coming out, but I think off the top of my head first, one that I've been so on the fence about is the Suicide Squad. And it's been really divisive if you read online about it. I initially was not very excited at all. It's a looter shooter by the people by Rocksteady, who did the Arkham games. I love the Arkham games.
Love Arkham.
This is Rocksteady studies the genre, and at first glance of this is yep, they sure studied it. Ass, because I think most looter shooters, like Destiny, when I think of good looter shooters, I think of Borderlands 2,
that's it
specifically. I really love Borderlands 2. Destiny as a game, people are gonna hate it. I think it's terrible as a game in general. Great gunplay. I hate pointless armor stats. Borderlands is awesome because all the stats are pretty much to weapons and 1 shield item. That's it. And it was fun and nothing felt pointless.
Right.
When a game starts saying that I'm gonna take 2% less poison damage from enemies that are wearing Crocs with socks, that's just as all this blubber, these words, they just exist.
A lot of filler.
Yeah. And it's just this is stupid. Destiny was definitely the start of that type of thing that I've noticed it, and companies for some reason were like, no, this is the mechanic we're keeping out of everything they learned from that game.
Suicide Squad is forming to be
people made Destiny fun. Playing with a team every day was my life for
Destiny is one of Saturday. 2 games that I am so sad that I missed the boat on.
I missed Destiny 2.
I wish I had just gone into it when it came out. I was on the fence about it. I didn't do it, and then I missed the boat. Now everybody's got power light level 9,000, and you can't get in on it early. And even I tried to when it went free, when Destiny 2 went free on PlayStation. I tried to play it, and I remember thinking to myself, this game, it's so fun to play. The gameplay is so good. The action is so good. And I have nobody to play it with, and I'm not going to sit here and grind this out myself. I'm so sad that I missed the boat.
That is a perfect segue about what I said. What I'm about to say is that Suicide Squad doesn't have that level type thing.
Oh.
I think it, I don't exactly understand it quite, but I know it's not. Basically, you can stop playing and you won't be behind necessarily.
Interesting. Is it multiplayer?
It is multiplayer, 4-player, and it is gonna. As another thing too, they are listening people because it started out online only, kind of gross. Then they said their one of their post goals is to have an offline mode, which I think is crazy for a game of that kind.
Their goal is to have an offline mode. That's their goal.
That's one of the next. or not a stretch goal, but like these. So it's a live service game, so it's in their content map. I'm sure it's probably easier to do than most of their plans. Like I'm sure it's easier just to have something where like it's just the story offline.
Yeah.
Which I think is great though. Like like if let's say. Who could this have happened to? Your internet goes out, but you really want to play Suicide Squad. Well, there you go.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But so that's cool. That's promising. And I just think but like when I read, but then there's things like there's so like I guess like Poison Ivy has like one of her weapons that she can like she gives or something at some point. I don't know. I've just been reading what like alpha testers had because their NDA has
news is
over.
coming out on that. Yeah,
and it's like
the headlines.
Like so she has this. She drops this axe. And it's like some of the stats just don't make sense. She drops an axe that where you hit enemies, they get frozen. Frozen enemies take 9,000 % more headshot damage or something, and that like actually in terms of these type of games, that kind of makes sense. Like that means you hit them with the axe, you switch to the gun. Except
while they're frozen,
enemies don't drop ammo when they're killed. Like why would you tack that on?
Oh my goodness! So it's like all blubber bloat balancing.
Yeah,
bloat
it's
problem.
like well then like I think there is something else. I could be wrong, but like. So it's like, okay, it wants you to do damage with the axe, but I don't think you can do headshot damage with that, like critical damage. And also, I think enemies like resist further ice damage or something. So it's like, what does it want you to do with that? It's so
very confusing.
And then it just seems like the experimentation of it is really confusing. But like the world seems cool. Their future expand like ideas. They tease like a story, like their first big wave of next content is introducing this thing called the Joker Tower, and HBO has this Harley Quinn show, and the Joker Tower is pretty crazy.
Oh, it's in that show.
It's in that show. I don't know if it's in anything else.
I mean, you're telling me a lot of news that I never heard about. I guess I haven't been following the Suicide Squad a lot because I didn't know
there
it was
wasn't this much. There just wasn't this much info on it. It's been in development since like 2016.
Yeah,
COVID delayed it, but it's clearly a 2016 game because it's trying to capitalize off of that Fortnite PUBG
that was
like,
going on in
online
20.
hype.
It was so hot back then,
and then it got delayed with COVID, and then been delayed.
Yeah, I mean, like that was a game for me when it was announced that I had zero interest in, right?
Same,
After the
100%.
last couple of Arkham games, and then the other games that have come out that have tried to capitalize on those systems, the way that Arkham did, the combat, where it was like hit this button at this time, and the Rocksteady did the first two Arkham games, fantastic, right? Excellent games. When this hit the streets and was announced, I was like, "This is gonna be bullshit. It's gonna be like Birds of Prey or whatever."
I was so
game came out.
excited at first. I was like, "Oh, let's go Rocksteady, Suicide Squad," and then it zoomed out, and I'm like, "Multiplayer, 4-player,
online only.
guns, online only." I'm like, "Oh, this is so."
But I had a roller coaster in this too because I had zero interest in it when it came out. I was like, all right, I'm not even going to pay attention to this. This is probably going to come out and bomb like all of these other stupid DC superhero games. The Court of Owls or fucking, I don't know.
Gotham Knight.
Yeah, whatever. And then when it came out with like, footage of traversal, like I saw something where it was like, the characters are traversing through the city and they're flying and they're swinging.
The movement looks awesome.
And I was back on. I was on that roller coaster. I was like, hell yeah, this looks actually interesting. I'm watching, I'm looking.
And then they showed all the stats. I'm like,
and now you're telling me all this other stuff, and I'm going back. I'm in the pits.
Yeah.
Here.
So
I don't even know what to think about this.
Let me raise you up out of the pits real quick.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I was like watching this video and like this, like it started like 26 minutes gameplay. And, like, there's two things. The first one, like, 4 seconds into the video, like, it was pretty much, like, I think Amanda Waller is the name of the girl that leads the, tells them, hey, do this or we'll kill you.
Famous actress. Shit, I forget her name. I saw her at an airport once.
Oh, really?
That's in JFK. She cut right in front of me in the TSA check line. But anyway, go on. Amanda Waller, she was on specific business. This 4 seconds in the video, all of a sudden the Riddler starts talking. Whoa, the Rizzler?
The Rizzler, yeah, from like the actual like Arkham games, because this is actually connected to the Arkham game.
Really?
Yes, it is in the same universe. The Gotham Knights game wasn't.
Oh.
Which is still very odd to me, like how much they try to make it
own
feel like
story?
it. Yeah, it's self-contained.
I did not play that one.
Yeah, I tried it. I got bored. Anyways, though, I was like, whoa, okay, this is kind of cool. Like Riddler trophies are back.
Yeah, because that was like huge in the first two games, right? How fun that was trying to figure it out, little puzzles.
Yeah, and it's like the same voice actor and everything.
Whoa!
I was
they
like,
got
okay,
Jim Carrey back. For this?
Is that who played them?
Oh no!
I was about to say
in
the movie. Yeah,
movies.
no. The same voice actor from the Arkham games, pretty sure. That's cool. And then like Brainiac, the whole concept is like he's controlling the the Justice League.
Justice League, yep.
And there's like parts where like I'm pretty sure like Batman is gathering intel from a distance. Like you just see him watching and then like
he's watching your gameplay footage.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is like this
so
guy
like in the background you might see Batman like fly away or something. You're like, whoa!
Like there's like this little like a second you could see him like perched up on like a water tower in the
oh damn! Easter egg! Easter egg!
I'm
I like that.
Like this is like they have attention to it, and the gunplay, going back to Destiny, it looks really fun. Why is Captain Boomerang shooting guns? I don't know, but it looks cool. It kind of looks cool.
He's shooting a gun that shoots boomerangs.
Going through the city, getting these collectibles, powering up. The boss fights, like IGN, I saw was not impressed, and then I looked into it.
I heard that.
Well, you look into it, and they're like, I don't like the Flash fight because he's fast.
He's too fast.
Well, it's like...
Why is he moving so fast?
Like, I get why that kind of is annoying. Like, you shoot him, and then he runs away.
Well, he's running.
At the same time, let's look at who you're fighting here. Okay, checking notes. The Flash, the quickest, the fastest man alive. Oh, interesting. Weird how that would be probably annoying. Like, I'm not saying... I'm not trying to bash. I get that it's annoying, but does annoying equal bad in this case necessarily? I've never seen granted different reviewers,
asking the hard questions.
But I've never seen IGN bash a Destiny game for having bullet sponges.
And
and those guys aren't fast.
You know what? Frankly, also about this game, I don't like the color of the Green Lantern. I mean, it's just he's too green. He's just way too green.
Really?
Yeah, Flash is too fast. Green Lantern's too green.
Yeah.
Man of Steel, he's too hard to shoot.
Yeah, the Man of Steel. I miss the Man of Aluminum.
That's it. 0 out of 10. Green Lantern's too green. Flash is too fast.
Yeah. That's Batman. Batman, too much man, not enough bat.
Yes. Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah. But honestly, I'm really on the fence. I'm definitely gonna wait a longer to see more, but. That's just the one. I'm just gonna talk about the other one real quick. This one I got a lot less to say, but
yeah,
there's a Princess Peach game coming out called Ship Princess Peach Showtime. It's been since the DS since she's had her own game. This one looks a little fun, really unique. Nintendo, after playing Odyssey and Mario Wonder, they're really keen on they seem to one up themselves on whatever they do. So I'm interested. It seems like a unique concept. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I'm eyeing that one also. I have heard that it's the first Princess Peach game since a long time. It's about damn time, really, that Princess Peach got her own show. I'm excited for that as well. And this Suicide Squad, like I said, I'm keeping my eyes on it. I had no interest in it. Now you're kind of building it up again for me. So if that's a really cool experience that has fun gameplay and maybe some, action that is enjoyable, I'll be in on it for sure. Graphics look great. Traversal looks excellent. Yeah. I have zero interest in those characters. I think we're getting beat over the head with Harley Quinn a little too much these days.
Yeah, it's kind of
got Harley Quinn in it. Come on.
The
Mr. J.
Well, it's more so they always start her. I'm hoping this game does not start her at the same spot, but the Harley Quinn show is really good. I've only watched the first season, to be fair. I really liked it. Hilarious show. It's got the King Shark. I think that's his. It's got Clayface, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy. But one thing is it just kind of for a little bit into the show, it felt like the same thing as the Suicide Squad one and the Birds of Prey one, where it's getting over that breakup. of them. And it's like, I'm like, okay. And then this game, I'm really hoping she's like past all that, because that's when the character actually gets a little more interesting.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing about like so much superhero media, that like they always start at the basics every time.
Right.
And that's why I'm like slightly off topic, but you talked about Blue Beetle earlier. I'm excited because apparently James Gunn's DC cinematic universe is like his Superman's already gonna be Superman. Like, don't need it. Like,
cool.
His Batman are gonna be Batman.
We don't have to go back to his parents dying.
Right.
And,
so that's why I'm a little
out.
Interested in the Suicide Squad game, because these criminals already are criminals, already established. You know.
What new stories can you tell us?
Right, exactly.
What has Boomerang been doing?
What is how many boomerangs
really
has he
throw
got?
that boomerang?
Yeah, can he throw the boomerang?
Is it gonna work?
Yeah,
that's all I want to know.
That's the two I'm eyeing.
I hope you're right. On that, I've been keeping my eye on Suicide Squad a little bit. I'm looking at the new Prince of Persia coming out in a couple of days, really.
Yeah,
and that goes back to our talk about Metroid before. I need a new Metroidvania in my life right now, and I love that they took Prince of Persia and they're turning it back into 2D, away from the 3D stuff, into a Metroidvania. Give me some Metroidvania.
Have you tried the demo?
Haven't played the demo.
Okay.
Have you heard good things?
Oh,
what have you heard?
Dude, their reviews were so good. This like Nintendo like news outlet I think it's like Nintendo Life, and also another one, not just Nintendo, but called Good Vibes Gaming.
Yeah.
Like one of the two people from that site, or maybe both of them, they're both like their reviews on impressions were so good, people like thought they were getting paid by Ubisoft.
Wow, really?
And like
Chills.
you know, and with all due respect, I kind of can't blame people for thinking that, because people get burned on Ubisoft a lot. You know,
true.
like whether people like it's just true. Like Ubisoft sometimes does not deliver on what they are presenting.
Promising.
But yeah, it looks quality, and in fact, it's Ubisoft.
Yeah, and
off the bat quality.
Frankly, I have zero interest in Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
Like, I remember trying to play those first original Prince of Persia games and being like, this game is fucking terrible. Like, who's into this? And then somehow that franchise survived over the years to spawn those 3D games that were fine. A movie with Jake Gyllenhaal.
And
obviously,
Lego sets.
Lego sets. Obviously, you would bring Jake Gyllenhaal in to play a prince from Persia.
Exactly.
I mean, why wouldn't you do that?
Well,
I can't believe that movie flopped. I'm so surprised. But you know, those 3D games, I played them. I think it was either GameCube or PlayStation 2 or something like that, and they were fine. They had cool mechanics, but I can't believe that franchise has stood the test of time.
I'm a little shocked too. I have never really played one. That's kind of what, like, to me, like, I'm not, obviously, you know, I'm the whole center of the universe. So how could I have not played one and the franchise has survived?
Understood. You don't even have to explain that.
No. So like, but no, it is always like a little eye-opening to me when I like game franchises.
Are still around, and you know, like, and like I said, just hearing Prince of Persia, that a Prince of Persia game is coming out, I'm like, okay, who the fuck cares? Like, no interest in it. And apparently, I didn't even know this. They had like 3 or 4 other games since that first 3D one that came out, and I was like, what? And somebody was telling me about it. They're like, oh, you're checking out this Prince of Persia game? I was like, no. Then I looked at a trailer, and it was like, oh, wait, hold on a second. Good gameplay, Metroidvania, 2D, jumping around, double jumps. Okay, I'm like in on this.
It's pretty surprising.
So I'm probably 90% gonna buy this game and play it and get it. So I'm excited for that. That's that's my first interesting game that's coming out. Also, I've been seeing a lot of, and I don't know if you've been seeing this one also, but I've been seeing now it a lot on TikTok and social media, is this Pal World game.
Yes, dude.
Have you been checking that out? Tell me about this. What? Okay,
dude.
I know the headlines. I got the headline here.
It's
Pokemon with guns.
You know, basically, so this company, I'm a little, I will say, I'm not trying to like go insanely hype. They have this other game called, like, their other games seemed like betas for this essentially. I can't think of what it's called now. But they had these other games that they kind of just abandoned, so I hope this isn't the case. But this has way more hype than any of their other projects. So I hope this one's here to stay. It's getting Xbox Game Pass money, so it better.
Oh, it's gonna be on Game Pass?
It's on Game Pass, but yeah, it's essentially...
Great. I'm playing it then.
I'm really blanking on the other name of the game, but it had the elements of, like, the whole building and making these structures where, like, you... Craftopia, I think is what it was called.
Oh, bad name.
But
go on.
Yeah, well, it's not a great name. That's what it's called?
Craftopia.
Anyways, though, you, like, can, like, mechanize your, like, farming and stuff. And same with this game. You're gonna have that, you know, you have guns and you want to take down the Pokemon, catch them.
This is what I'm seeing.
And then...
I'm seeing the Pokemon with the guns.
Like, you basically can make Pokemon with guns. Like, you can... tame them to get bigger beasts, it looks like, and then you can also, well, you can make animal sweatshops. I don't know how else to explain it for the people.
They've been promoting
yes.
this. I see like these Pokemon on a freaking assembly line putting together AK-47s.
Yes, and I'm like,
and that's a promotion. It's not a joke.
I'm here for this. Yeah,
it's not a game made by the Onion.
No,
is what you're telling
me. It seems insane, and if they can deliver on that insanity, I am in. Because like,
and now there was like an alpha test for it or something, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen any. I don't know if there's probably an NDA.
I've been seeing gameplay like yesterday and today coming out.
Right. There's been gameplay and stuff. They've been every day on Twitter. They've been showing off like a new creature. It just looks like, I will say the creatures definitely are like not that recognizable. Like, it's kind of weird. That's like
they're not unique looking.
I mean, they're
creatures.
unique. It's just memorable is the word. Like, there's none that I'm like, oh, this one's so cute. How could I make this like?
Pikachu.
How could and obviously I get there's like they're probably really trying to tiptoe around like triggering Pokemon's like legal team, but I mean, like, so they're probably trying not to do any of that stuff, but yeah, I'm excited for that game.
I'm curious. I'm just very curious to see what it is, because now I keep seeing, like I said on TikTok videos of like people running around and fucking shooting what looks like Pokemon, and then apparently like all these trailers and all these things have started out like, oh look, you're in this world where you've got to gather resources and build your shelter and catch Pokemon that will help you grow crops.
Right.
Look, oh, didn't you ever think that Squirtle could help you raise crops? He must have such an impact on a world. And wait, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Why is there nuclear weapons happening now? Why is fucking Charizard out here blowing magma into fucking bombs?
That is my question. Like, I just want to know, like, at what point do the guns are going to be like, what's the goal? You know, like, after I mechanize my society by having these little sheep build me AK-47s, what do I do?
Ultimate destruction.
What is these
mutually assured destruction.
what am I gonna do with this like fat boy nuke I've created? Like, what Pokemon in this world is gonna be so big?
What you're not seeing is the fascist Pokemon on the other side of the globe that are starting a third Reich.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Very curious about this that's coming around. Look, I've always said on a lot of these games, you know, so I think I said it earlier in Celeste. Pokemon is one of them. All of these games can very much benefit from having more guns.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Celeste had more AK-47s, I would have been in.
Yeah, imagine if like Celeste had like a nuke you could drop on a level to skip it.
10 out of 10. That's what the game was missing, right?
Yeah.
I keep trying to jump over these platforms, but you know how much easier it would be if I could just blow everything up? Like,
exactly.
Same with Pokemon, you know?
Imagine if Ape Escape, which you had to like, dude, that would have been so much easier.
Those apes wouldn't have escaped.
They would not.
If I had a sniper rifle.
A drum mag with some like dual pistols. Like, come on now, those apes.
Finally, someone's listening to me on this. So I'm interested. I'm very interested in this. More guns in games.
There's one more game, at least I just remembered.
Yeah, and I have one also that I just remembered, but let's hear yours.
It might be the same, probably not.
Oh, they on 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Sonic Futures.
2.
Hades 2.
Sonic Futures.
No. Made something up. Hades 2, right, for 2024, right?
Yep.
We don't Do we know when that's coming out?
I think I thought it was like maybe not. I just know there's like it's gonna be like in a game preview phase or something, which I'm a little like.
Oh,
just
like
release the final thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how it's all gonna work. I'm just really excited. You know, that's how we met.
You're right. Hades.
Hades. Great game.
Great game.
So I just want to say Hades too, because
Hades.
There's nothing like to really talk about for it. I can't even like theorize anything.
Well, the first time Supergiant is making a sequel, right, which could be interesting. But people, I mean, obviously Hades is the best game that they've made, and they've made a lot of really good games. People are very excited for Hades, us included.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think I was talking a little bit about the God of War DLC earlier, but the God of War DLC just basically ripped so much of Hades off.
Yeah.
From like the boons and the challenges and the and the different abilities and the unlocks, you know, not just roguelikes, not just standard roguelike stuff, but they really ripped Hades off like big time on that, and people love it. People are like going crazy about it. I loved it. Right. So people are ready. Their appetite is whetted here for more Hades.
You know, you mentioned it being a sequel. I'm sure in like terms of theming, I just kind of see a hard time like being like a legit sequel. I think it's just more like like the namesake of it.
Yeah.
You know, like it's gonna like involve, like it's got all that like mythological connection, you know. But, But other than that, I think it's really just pure namesake.
Well, do you think they're gonna put more I hope that they put a twist on some of the gameplay at least.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure there'll be like one big gimmick. I'm sure there'll be new weapons, you know.
Right.
I'm
just not sure if more Hades, like just Hades, but more is going to do it.
Yeah,
I think
who
they
knows?
Need to bring something fresh, something new.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be like all new bosses and everything. Like, I'm sure all that. I think it'll just be essentially, I don't know. Like, I remember like the character on like the screen is like a for Hades 2 is like using like magic or something. So you know that'll be interesting.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
But I know people love Hades for more than just the gameplay.
Yeah,
right?
The characters,
they love the voice
the
visuals,
acting,
they love the visuals. So like, there's so much more to that package than just the gameplay. But I do hope that they bring some interesting new gameplay.
Yeah, there needs to be some good gameplay shakeup. But it's also been so long where I don't really know if it'll feel bad if it's somewhat of the same.
It's just more of the same,
you know. But it and it's kind of the thing, like real quick, with like Spider-Man 2 that I've been working on as well a bit, playing, you know, like they fine-tuned the game itself, but like it's a little more of the same part of the story and the character, like that's the stuff, and that's kind of what the vibe of this I'm getting is like, you know, there'll be new gameplay elements, but it's really going to be more on like characters. I called you moron for a second there.
I was like, hold on a second.
There's gonna be
What'd you call me?
There's gonna be a lot moron. That's why I laughed for a second when I said that.
I knew you. I caught it too. I knew you tripped up. I was like, what's he saying about me?
But yeah, I'm just excited. That's really all I got.
Yeah, no, that's obviously a biggie. 2024, a ton of people looking forward to that. I can't wait. That studio makes great games from Bastion up. Very exciting. The one that I'm kind of looking at just for the immediate future, and it's not even like high on my anticipated list, but the one that I'm probably going to get into is the new Yakuza Infinite Wealth game. I know we were talking about it earlier, but you know, Yakuza is a series for me that I had not much interest in for a long time. Whenever I watched like trailers or gameplay or something, it always just struck me as like kind of just like a clunky version of Grand Theft Auto, and I know that's not it. I know if I say that to a Yakuza fan, they would
probably Yakuza you.
Yeah, they would Yakuza. They get the Yakuza on me, and that's it. My legs would get broken, but. It has not interested me. And then when Like a Dragon came out, and I saw the gameplay was turn-based role-playing style, a lot of influence from Dragon Quest games, I was like, oh, okay, this could be more up my alley. And I didn't play it. I wanted to play it, but I heard it was like 100 hours, 60 plus hours. Like, do I have time for that? Then it went on Game Pass, and I was like, oh, I've always been hovering over the
Yeah,
download button on Yakuza Like a Dragon, right? Now this new one's coming out, and I'm making a commitment to myself to play it because
really.
everything on everybody on these sides, Yakuza freaks out there are always like, the game is so funny and there's so
It
many
is.
things going
It's
on. There's so many mini
crazy. They get
games.
crazy. Like every new entry just
Crazy.
has gotten crazier. 7 is the one I made it the furthest in, which isn't
Mhm.
crazy far. But I was really like, I love the concept of the series, and I love the
Uh-huh.
gameplay, both of the fight, like the more combat focused, and the RPG ones. It's a commitment, man. Like if you want to get through that,
Yeah.
and I'm really like one thing about the new one is like I wish I knew if I need to play 7. Because
Right. I
it's
wish.
like it's right after 7. It's because it has the same character.
Yeah. And what's concerning about me, for me, is I would love to. I'm concerned that the setting, it's going to be, and I no spoilers on this because it's in the trailer, it's in the intro,
Mm,
right?
Hawaii.
It's in Hawaii, right? Which is so far away from what I think everybody loves on the edges of the game. Is it's in these Japanese neighborhoods with a lot of Japanese cultural influence that you don't, as Westerners, experience, right? And they're finally getting a chance to go to pachinko parlors and go to these maid cafes and the lights and the
Mhm.
advertisements. But now you're taking it to Hawaii, which doesn't have a lot of that in it. There's
Yeah.
obviously Japanese influence, but not that much. Are you going to lose that? And am I not going to experience that? Because that's going to be the only Yakuza game that I play, So I'm a little
Yeah.
bit concerned there.
My guess is like probably like yeah, probably won't have some of that stuff, but
Mm.
like, I'm sure they'll cram a Sega arcade somewhere. Those games
In
probably have them.
Honolulu somewhere.
Probably. But
I
like
hope
it seems
so.
like they're dialing up like the other activities to like 11. Like they're just like for some reason like I saw like one of the pre-order things is like this tennis quest where like you play tennis and it looks like a new
Yeah.
Virtua tennis.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's just like crazy like
Virtua Tennis was great.
yeah. I saw like this isn't a spoiler because it's in a trailer. Like one of the enemy like friends you can call is like these like two shrimp,
Yes.
and so like
This bonkers stuff that I've heard of from these
yeah,
other games, being able to summon shrimp. It
yeah,
sounds awesome and ridiculous, and I want to taste it. I want a flavor of it. So I'm anticipating that, and I remember when Like a Dragon came out, some of the criticisms where it got very grindy at the end, and I
hmm
don't, if I'm just playing on that on my own, I don't mind the grind. Like I'll get into it. I'm sure they'll change some of it for this one, and the difficulty spiked like big time at the end, where you had to go back and grind in order to be able to pass the end challenges. From what I understand, from what I heard, I'm sure they're doing some fixes on that, but actually, this is going to be I think this is going to be one of those series that I finally get into and play and beat, a la Mario and Metroid and Zelda, and now it's going to be Yakuza. Because
dang.
there's how many Yakuza games out?
Well,
11.
like there's like there yeah. Well, I think on the main line there's like 9 because there's 0,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, and now they're like 8. And then there's like
Oh,
Ishin, and then there's also the man who erased his name.
oh my God, who could fight? Like that's a series right there. That's a
That's
staple.
yeah, and it's crazy to me like how cheap the games go for anyone watching. If you want a huge series where like you probably got your whole like next 6 months ahead of you, there it is. And like when they go on sale, they're like $5 a piece.
Not to mention, they're all on Game Pass.
True.
All of them are on Game Pass.
It-
Not just
Yeah,
like
actually,
not just Like a Dragon. They're all on Game Pass.
Yeah,
If you want to spend
literally,
$15
yeah,
for 1 month and just play through hundreds of hours of content, they're all there.
yeah. Like actually, I almost said something, but I just realized they like literally all the ones out right now are on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like huge. So anyway, that's what the 2 games I'm going to play this month are, what did I just say? Prince of Persia
Yeah,
and Yakuza. I'm going to
Yep.
keep an eye on that Pal World for sure.
dude, Game Pass.
Game Pass.
got Pal World.
Oh, well, finally, I'm going to get back into downloading something on Game Pass. Like I've been away from Game Pass for so long. Even though I tell everybody, even people who are just getting into video games, like who are asking me, like thinking about getting an Xbox or a PlayStation, and it's hard for me not to recommend an Xbox,
Yeah.
Xbox because Game Pass is such a good deal.
Yeah, if you're
Like,
just trying to play as much as possible, Game.
boom, that's it. And people, especially Steam users say to me, "Oh, I want to own my games, and I've got my Steam library." It's like, yeah, okay, I get it, but come on, man, it
Yeah.
can't beat the value there. It's too good.
Especially with Microsoft actually putting out games finally.
Oh yeah.
Like,
And they're like Starfield coming day one
Yeah.
to Game Pass. These games are coming day one.
yep.
Then pretty soon, when you can only play your Call of Duty on Game Pass, you're
Then-
gonna want
Yeah,
it.
then you're gonna want it. Once they add the Master Chief, the Master Chief Specialist, operator,
Warzone, you're gonna want
you're
it.
gonna want it.
Get in on it early. And then I think just for 2024, my most anticipated game personally is the new Pony Island game. I think I talked about it in the
Oh
last
yeah, the last one.
one. Huge Inscription fan. Didn't play the first Pony Island, but I want to know what this guy, that one developer,
Okay.
Mullins, I forget his first name, what he comes out with for this. Very excited.
Oh, yeah.
Very interested.
I need to give Inscription a shot.
You gotta play Inscription. That's, like I was saying before, a medium that makes you go back and look on the Wikipedia page and think about it more. That game did it for me.
Really?
Like, after, like, there was this whole ARG game outside of the game, right, that I was never going to participate in, but I wanted to know more about it. I wanted to see, oh, he put coordinates in here and thing, and there's a thing. It went over to the woods in Michigan and found, like, I was reading about it. I was interested. I was never going to do it myself, but like that kind of stuff, like,
Yeah.
really, really got me. And that's it. That's it for games. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you can think of on the
Nope.
gaming front?
I think games are over.
That's it. Game's dead.
Yep.
You heard it here first. The gaming industry is dead. Twitch is laying people off. Discord's laying people off. Sony's driving cars on stage with their PlayStation 5
Yep.
controller, which I just heard about.
Yeah, I heard about that. Battery low, and all of a sudden car drifts into the roof. Oh no.
I think that the funniest comment that I saw was, "Did we not learn anything from Submarine Gate?" What was that?
Exactly. Yeah, the Ocean Gate.
Ocean Gate. Did we not
Dude.
learn anything from Ocean Gate?
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. So that's it. That's the news. Anything? Any other last bits that you want to get in here before we wrap it up?
I don't think I got anything other than, man, it's just looking like another banger year, dude.
20. Well, my prediction was 2024 was going to be shit. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm
2024
wrong.
is kicking it off right away, and we don't have anything like for like after March really on the horizon. So
Yeah,
who
it's looking good.
knows?
Stacked in the beginning of the year. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I
I'm
hope everybody out there is excited. And thanks for joining us today on a little bit of Game Boys Unplugged. That's been the podcast. That's been episode 3. Thanks, Ty, for
thank you.
bringing us together and talking to us and getting us excited again to play more games. More games coming down the pike. And check us out on all of our other socials here. You can find them somewhere. Just look them up. Look us up. We're out there.
Yep, we're on Game Pass.
Yeah, find us on Game Pass, $14.99 a month, and just download me directly. I'll come and play games in your house. And that'll do it. Thanks again, Ty. Thanks for joining us. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Game Boys Unplugged. Peace.